Chapter 25-27. Alright, I'll hit you then. Although the purple hair didn't use his full strength in that punch, he still used 30 to 40% of his strength. But Pinliang didn't seem to be affected at all. The purple hair didn't hold back and quickly punched Pinliang's body with a bang. Harder, keep hitting. Pinliang didn't feel anything and continued to order. Oh. Purple hair was now sure that Pinliang wasn't afraid of beating him up and was here to beat him up. Although he knew that beating him up was pointless, he was still pissed off after being taught a lesson by Pinliang earlier. Hence, with the resentment in his heart, purple hair hit harder and harder. Right Coiling Tiger and Blondie watched enviously. They were also victims in the past. Right Coiling Tiger asked enviously, "Brother Liang, why don't Blondie and I try hitting you too?" "Go ahead." Pinliang nodded without hesitation. He wanted to see how strong he was, so he agreed without hesitation. Right Coiling Tiger and Yellow Hair were overjoyed, and together with Purple Hair, they started hitting Pinliang from all sides. However, their hands were hurting, but Pinliang was still fine, as if he wasn't hurt at all. Panhu Yu, Purple Hair, and Yellow Hair, on the other hand, were exhausted. They used all their strength but couldn't do anything to Pinliang. "That's enough. Stop fighting. Stop fighting." Pinliang waved his hand. His golden cicada underwear didn't work, so why didn't it work on Linny? "It's alright. Right Coiling Tiger reluctantly stopped. Purple Hair and Yellow Hair also reluctantly stopped. Although they were exhausted from beating people up, and their hands were sore, it felt good. They were happy in their hearts. "Alright, you guys can leave. There's nothing else for you guys to do," Pinliang said to Panhu Yu and walked back to the dorms with Xiaofu, who had just cleaned up the arena. Panhu Yu and the others looked at each other and left in a hurry. Pinliang was really strange. He didn't react no matter how they hit him, but how did Lin Yi make him cry for his mom and dad? These people did not understand, but they could only come to one conclusion, and that was that Lin Yi was too powerful and not an ordinary person. If even Pinliang wasn't a match for Lin Yi, then they had to be even more careful and avoid provoking Lin, Brother Liang. "What's going on today? Why is Lin able to hit you all of a sudden?" Gao Xiaofu asked curiously. "I don't know, who knows? I thought my underwear was malfunctioning, but I got Tiger Right and the others to test it, and there's nothing wrong with it." Pinliang frowned. Did Lin Yi become a sky class in 2 days? That's impossible, right? How could he level up so quickly? "Yeah, I also think it's a little unbelievable. Besides, Brother Liang, your advantage was so obvious just now, so why did you suddenly fall and get beaten up by Lin Yi?" Gao Xiaofu recalled the strange situation from before. So she asked, "Didn't Lin Yi hit my leg?" Pinliang didn't pay much attention at the time, thinking that it was Lin Yi who ambushed his leg and caused him to fall. "No, Lin Yi didn't even get close to you. All we saw was that you fell out of nowhere, Liang bro," Gao Xiaofu said. "No way? That weird? I clearly felt pain in my leg, like I was hit." Pinliang thought about it and felt that Lin Yi was too weird and couldn't be judged with common sense. He shook his head. "Forget it. Let's not think about it, it seems like we were thinking too simply. Pack up, we'll be going up the mountain in 2 days to return to the everyday and everyday sect." "All right." Gao Xiaofu didn't dare say anything else. He nodded. In the hidden house Zhao, an old man came to Elder Zhao excitedly with a small box in his hand. "Elder, we got a lot from the cultivator's market auction. This time, there were a lot of small chi gathering pills, and there were only 1 or 2 in the past. We couldn't even get one with our wealth, but we finally got 4 this time. Of course, this is also because we've earned a lot of money recently, and now that we have money, we're confident enough to bid. Before, we'd have to give up if the price went over 10 million. House Zhao didn't have much money in the past, otherwise they wouldn't have sent Qibing to the common world to earn money. No matter how much money Zihua made, the money he earned had to be calculated carefully to keep House Zhao afloat. Taking out 10 million to buy pills was quite extravagant. One could say that the hidden houses weren't as rich as the common houses, and this was why House Yu was able to earn money through the common House Yu. Now, without the restraints of the Hidden Family Arbitration Association, The hidden Zhao family began to do business in East Ocean City like crazy. With the hidden Zhao family's connections, they easily accumulated a huge amount of wealth. Even Lei Daming had brought over 100 million to House Zhao in a short amount of time. This was also why House Zhao didn't kill him after he got into trouble, but sent him away instead. This elder was sent by the hidden House Zhao to the cultivators' market auction. His name was Elder Mian, and he was slightly weaker than Elder Bai, but he was still an Earth-class late-phase peak. It was just that he'd just broken through. Small qi gathering pills, give them to Qibing, we don't need them right now. Elder Zhao waved his hand, deciding what to use for these pills. The only ones in House Zhao who had the strength to use them were Zhao Qibing and Zhao Qikuan, two mystics, and they were the only ones who could quickly break through to Earth class. But Zhao Qikuan, on the other hand, was sent to his death. Why would he waste the pills on him? Moreover, the name of this small qi-gathering pill reminded old Zhao of the qi-gathering pill he had ingested. It was Zhao Qibing's hard work that allowed him to smoothly ascend to sky class. So, if there was a chance to do something for his grandson, Elder Zhao wouldn't let it go. Qi-gathering pill was something so valuable, and it was a third-level pill that was hard to find. What was 10 million small qi-gathering pills to him? It was fine if he gave it to Qibing. Chapter 25-28. So even if Qibing was a little weaker, he believed that after some training he would be able to rise to the top. Plus, the world of practitioners was a world where strength was everything. Even if Qibing was a little arrogant, as long as he was strong enough, who could say anything about it? Just like Lin, how arrogant and cocky was he? But who would dare to do anything to him? And so, Qibing was lucky enough to take 4 small qi-gathering pills consecutively. But it was also his luck that Lin Yi had put out so many of them in this auction. There weren't these in the previous auctions. Although the little qi-gathering pill was also a second-grade pill, the materials used to refine it were more expensive. Although the cost of a single pill wasn't that much higher than other pills, it was important to know that there was a chance of the pill being scrapped. The more scrapped the pill was, the higher the cost of a single pill. Therefore, the little qi-gathering pill was one of the least common pills in every auction. Usually, there would only be 1 or 2, and it would only appear once every 3 years. The hidden house, you weren't idiots. Even the Sky Elixir sect didn't have a high success rate, and there was a chance of failure. Of course, if the elder of the Sky Elixir sect did it himself, he could guarantee success, but where would the elder have the time and energy to make a normal second-level pill? These pills were made by the other elders and disciples of the Sky Elixir sect, so the success rate was naturally low. The cost was too high, and they didn't want to make too many. This way, the hidden house of the right would be able to control the number of small qi-gathering pills. They would only release a few each time, but not a lot, creating a situation where there was demand but no supply. Who would have thought that Lin Yi would break this rule? Lin Yi and Han Jingjing's pill concoction was naturally very cheap. Putting aside the fact that Han Jingjing could concoct 1 pill at a time, the two of them could even concoct a few more pills at the same time. This way, the cost wasn't a problem. Waha, I didn't think that Zhao Qibing could become an Earth class. Qibing took 4 small qi-gathering pills. After a day and a night of isolation, he finally became an Earth-class early phase. Although he still couldn't reach Lin Yi's level, he was already very excited. Coincidentally, he became one of the cultivators with the fastest cultivation speed. Of course, apart from the good timing, the hidden Zhao family had no successor. Qikuan's participation in the Sky Elixir test was already set in stone, and it could be said that he wouldn't be coming back. Naturally, Qibing was the only one left, and he had to be nurtured. Since he had become an Earth-class master, he naturally had the right to learn martial arts, but Uncle Zhu's majestic fist wasn't suitable for him. Uncle Zhu was still injured and couldn't get up from his bed, so he couldn't teach Zhao Qibing. It seemed like he'd have to ask for some martial arts, Qibing thought. He went to his grandfather's room. His broken leg was naturally healed as well. This time, Elder Mian had bought a lot of second-level elixirs. With the circulation pill and meridian opening pill, Zhao Qibing took one and his leg was healed. Old Zhao was practicing when Elder Mian told him that Zhao Qibing was here. He let him in immediately. Since he'd decided to train Zhao Qibing to be his successor, he didn't hold back anymore, even if Zhao Qibing was a little arrogant. But he was still more daring than the cautious Guanyin. Guanyin may be cautious, but his personality was more than enough to protect himself, not enough to expand. The hidden noble houses now weren't the same as before. The Hidden Noble House Association only existed in name, and all the hidden noble houses were getting restless. They were plotting for greater development, and if they didn't improve now, they'd be eliminated and become a normal noble house. Qibing, you broke through? You're already in Earth class early phase? Zhao Qibing walked in. Old Zhao was a little surprised. Thank you for the elixir, Grandpa. I didn't disappoint you and broke through to Earth class early phase. Zhao Qibing didn't hide his Earth class early phase qi, so old Zhao could see it with one look. Oh, you're the heir I've chosen, and I'm going to train you with everything I have. Old Zhao said, Qibing, is there something you need from me? Yes, Grandpa, I'm in Earth class now, can I learn martial arts? Zhao Qibing asked. I forgot about that. Old Zhao nodded, but the martial arts that our hidden house practices aren't suitable for you. You have a metal element body, and Elder Bai's majestic fist is a metal element martial art. But this fist skill has a flaw, and Elder Bai says that it doesn't suit you. He thinks that you should practice your feet skills because your legs are longer. That's an advantage. I see, then what should I practice? Zhao Qibing asked. Wait, I'll help you look. If it doesn't work, I'll call the Hidden House you and see if they have any good martial arts techniques. I'll get one for you, Old Zhao said. Thank you so much, Grandpa. Zhao Qibing said happily. And you can leave for now. I'll come find you when things are confirmed. Old Zhao waved his hand, signaling for Zhao Qibing to leave. After leaving Old Zhao's house, Zhao Qibing was overwhelmed with emotions. He felt like he had to go out for a walk after leveling up. He was an Earth class early phase now, and he should be invincible in the common world. Of course, he didn't dare to look for Lin Yi for revenge. Although he was full of confidence, he didn't explode. What he needed to do was to look for Zhong Pingliang. Although Zhong Pingliang had someone backing him, he couldn't kill him, but beating him up wasn't a problem. Since he left the mountain to train, he could only blame himself if he got beaten up because he wasn't strong enough. He couldn't blame anyone else. Even Zhong Pingliang's master wouldn't say anything. Of course, this was under the premise that he couldn't kill Zhong Pingliang. Zhao Qibing drove his Porsche Cayenne to Donghai Industry University. When he arrived at the school gate, he bumped into Zhong Pingliang and Gao Xiaofu's car. Zhong Pingliang had lost the arena, and he went back to the dorm to pack up. He was ready to go back to the everyday sect with Gao Xiaofu, but he didn't expect to bump into Zhao Qibing's Porsche Cayenne. Chapter 25-29. Lin Yi was so powerful that even he didn't dare marry his daughter to him. Although, marrying his daughter to Lin Yi was a good choice, House Yu didn't even find the ancient ruins. Everything they had now was given to them by that place, and the Hidden House Yu was the representative of that place in the Hidden Plain. Their words were like an imperial edict to House Yu. If something happened to Yu Ning, then House Yu wouldn't be able to pay for it even if they all died. This was also why the Hidden House Yu was worried that something would happen between Yu Ning and Lin. They wanted to get rid of Lin. And so, in order to punish Zhao Qibing, Xiaochen took out 2 of the 5 elemental arts he had prepared, one the hardest and the other the easiest. He wanted to make it hard for Zhao Qibing so that he didn't have a choice in the middle. I see. Zhao Qibing didn't suspect anything as he nodded and accepted the 2 arts. These 2 skills, one is hard to train, but it's very strong. The other is easy to train, but it's not that strong. You choose for yourself. Xiaochen explained. Thank you, uncle. Zhao Qibing picked up the simple art and flipped through it. The name of the art was, as the name suggested, able to make one's fist as hard as steel. But in reality, steel was already very strong for normal people, but for practitioners, it wasn't that hard. Zhao Qibing flipped through it a couple of times. This art was easy to learn and activate, but when he saw its power his face turned bitter. What kind of art was this? The power it unleashed was only equivalent to 2/3 of the power of an ordinary martial skill? Did that mean that this art was much weaker than normal arts? Elder Bai's majestic fist was weaker than normal arts, but it wasn't as weak as this steel fist. It was so weak that Zhao Qibing wouldn't choose this art no matter how stupid he was. Uncle, this technique is no good, it's even weaker than our Wangba fist, it's really… Qibing smiled bitterly. Oh, that's true, but the other skill is very powerful, but you'll have to pay a price for it. Xiaochen pointed at the other skill. Qibing opened the other book and flipped through it. The name of this skill was extremely domineering, as if it was a very powerful skill, much more impressive than the Iron Fist from before. As he continued reading the introduction of the 1,000 Legs, Zhao Qibing was overwhelmed with emotions. This was too amazing, too amazing. This 1,000 Legs was simply heaven-defying. The first move of a martial skill was equivalent to 2 times that of a normal martial skill, and as the level increased, each move was equivalent to a normal martial skill plus 1 move. In other words, 1 move was equivalent to 2 moves, 2 moves were equivalent to 3 moves, 3 moves were equivalent to 4 moves, and so on. In this aspect, it was similar to Lin Yi's Frenzy Fire Fist. They were both top-notch skills among martial arts. Of course, Zhao Qibing's was stronger than Lin Yi's in that even a normal person could achieve the same effect. Lin Yi's, on the other hand, required a lot of practice to achieve the same effect, and Faubert evidently hadn't achieved that. Moreover, the more Zhao Qibing read, the more excited he got. This skill was amazing, the second move was equivalent to the third move, and the most important thing was that the second move could activate 2 skills at the same time. This was why the skill was called 1,000 Legs. The first move could activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on and so forth. From this point alone, it was similar to Lin Yi's Forest of Wood's 1,000 Changes. Uncle, this skill is amazing, it's exactly what I need. Zhao Qibing said as he held the book in his hands. It's amazing, but elite soldier, you should read the introduction first before you decide if you want to train in it or not. Xiaochen said with a smile, putting on a concerned look on his face. Oh, is it that hard to learn? Zhao Qibing was prepared for this. It's fine, uncle, as long as this skill is really amazing, I'll be able to learn it no matter how hard it is. Ha, that's great, I knew you were ambitious, Qibing. That's why I'm giving this book to you. Xiaochen laughed as he patted Qibing's shoulder. Zhao Qibing felt like he was on cloud 9 as he continued flipping through the book, but his face changed the second he read. The prerequisites for cultivating 1,000 Legs were actually written like this. To learn the 1,000 Legs, you must first break your legs. Break your legs 9 times to activate 1 move. What? I have to break my legs? Zhao Qibing was stunned as he looked at the prerequisites. What kind of skill was this? Why did he have to break his legs? Yeah, that's why I said it's very hard. Xiaochen said with a heavy tone. Only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top. If you think that this training is too harsh, then you can give up on it. After all, this isn't a path that a normal person can take. You need to break your leg 9 times to activate the first stance, and the second and third are the same. The more times you break your leg, the harder it gets. You can break it yourself at first, but as time goes on, you'll have to find someone stronger to break it for you. This skill is powerful, but it's also very hard to train in. I see. Zhao Qibing hesitated as he remembered something. He was delighted. He'd broken his legs many times already, and although it wasn't enough for 9 times, he'd be able to practice it smoothly with a few more breaks. With that thought, he gritted his teeth. Uncle, I'll practice this skill. I'm someone who can take hardships. Zhao Qibing's answer surprised Xiaochen. He thought that Zhao Qibing would give up after seeing such a difficult training method, and that the hidden house you would be able to answer to them. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, it was just that Zhao Qibing was too cowardly and didn't dare practice. Chapter 25-30. You've really decided? This isn't a joke. What if you break your leg and there's some side effects? Not only will you not be able to practice your skills, you won't even be able to stand up. Xiaochen wasn't willing to give up as he tried to scare Zhao Qibing. It's fine, I have experience. This leg you'll get used to it. Zhao Qibing laughed. All right then, since you're so insistent, I have no reason to reject you. But I've already told you about the consequences, you'll have to explain it to Elder Zhao when you get back, Xiaochen said. No problem, don't worry uncle. Even if I break my leg, I won't drag you into it. Zhao Qibing didn't know what Xiaochen was thinking that he was afraid of the responsibility. Xiaochen nodded and didn't say anything else as he sent Zhao Qibing away. Zhao Qibing was in a hurry to go home, but Xiaochen didn't make him stay. Xiaochen looked down on Zhao Qibing from the start, someone who relied on opportunism to get to his position. He didn't have any skills at all, getting a qi-gathering pill to get to where he was. Donghai, the afternoon was quiet. When school ended, Lin Yi, Xinyan, and Han Jingjing walked out of the classroom together and walked to the parking lot. Xinyan's complexion was still good, but she was a little drowsy. She'd been drinking Lin Yi's medicine in the morning and afternoon, and it felt good. Xiaolong saw Xinyan and Lin Yi together, but he didn't have any temper. All he could do was crouch in the corner and curse Lin. He couldn't do anything else. Pinliang, a disciple of an ancient sect, was beaten up by Lin. Xiaolong's heart started to waver for the first time. Even if his brother Kong Mingming became an elder of the Sky Elixir sect, would he be able to deal with Lin Yi? Xiaolong wouldn't be a match for Lin Yi if he were to fight Lin Yi himself. Xiaolong had learned quite a bit from following Tiger Rite, and while there were levels to refiners, they couldn't be used in battle. Their combat index was too low. Even if Kong Mingming was a Sky-class refiner, he might not be a match for Lin. Plus, even the hidden Sky class of House Yu wasn't a match for Lin Yi. Unless Kong Mingming brought a group of Sky Elixir Masters to deal with Lin Yi, there was no chance at all. Xiaolong felt depressed at the thought. His self-confidence had also gone from swelling to exploding at the beginning to a little disappointment now. Humans are like this. The moment they find out about something good, they will immediately rejoice. They were the most confident, thinking that they could do anything they wanted. But as time went on, after a few days, everyone calmed down and started to worry. Xiaolong was in this state. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't care what Xiaolong was thinking, as long as he didn't cause trouble for him. Lin Yi didn't bother with him. At night, Wang Xinyan slept in Lin Yi's room as usual. She even took a shower today. It was just that when she showered, she did it behind Lin Yi's back. Although she tacitly agreed to some things, she still stuck to her bottom line when it came to matters of principle. After Qin returned home safely, Mother Qin decided to move. Her family's conditions were much better now. She was taken care of by Fatty Lai and entered the Miracle Doctor Guan Medical Company's Songshan branch as a warehouse keeper. This was a position that didn't require any professional skills. It wasn't tiring and the salary was high. Usually, only people with connections to the boss could take up this position. Although he often had to work the night shift, he had a day off after working. Most of the time, he would sit in the office with his colleagues and read the newspaper to kill time. Only when the company's salespeople came to pick up the goods would he do these things, so it was easy and not tiring at all. All of this, Mother Qin was very grateful to Lin Yi, and she often told Qin about it. She had to repay his kindness, and he told her to study hard to repay him. Naturally, Qin knew this, but she wanted to repay him in a different way. If Mother Qin knew about this, she'd definitely scold her for not learning good things at such a young age. But there was no helping it. After spending so much time with Ziyu, Qin's pure heart couldn't help but be affected. Zhao Guangyin's brief appearance made Mrs. Qin give up as well. She saw through Zhao Guangyin's ugly facade. It was clearly a scam to lure Lin Yi to his death. Mrs. Qin gave up on Zhao Guangyin completely and moved out with Qin resolutely. Ziyu's place wasn't too bad, it wasn't too high class, but it wasn't too low class either. The old couple and their child were going abroad, and the two houses were for rent. Mother Qin rented one, and Grandpa Zhu rented the other. Actually, Mother Qin was a bit unnecessary. Putting aside the fact that Zhao Guangyin would never appear in front of Mother Qin again, with Zhao Guangyin's personality, he'd be done with her after using her. Wouldn't he just wait for Xiao Jin to go crazy if he tried to interact with her again? Moreover, with Boss Zhu here, wouldn't it be the same no matter where they moved to? But after moving here, Qin moved into Ziyu's house. Her reason was very good, the two of them could help each other learn. Because Mother Chen had to work the night shift sometimes, she didn't have time to take care of Qin Shi. Naturally, she didn't object to Qin Shi's decision. And so, Qin Shi's pure little brain was once again tainted by Ziyu. Shi, you're first in the exam this time. Aren't you going to report to Linny, bro? Ziyu said as she laid on the bed drinking milk. She kicked Qin Shi, who was reading a book. I'll call Linny, bro, is that okay? Qin Shi was a bit hesitant, but with Ziyu's words, she wanted to do that. What's wrong with that? Ziyu said nonchalantly. Shi, it's not that I want to criticize you, but Lin Yi bro has so many pretty girls around him. If you don't take the initiative, when will you get a chance? Haven't you heard of this saying? If you don't want to cry in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder now. If you don't work hard in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder? I don't have a BMW in the future, do I? Qin Shi was confused by Ziyu's words. I don't have a BMW, do I? Qin Shi was confused by Ziyu's words. Chapter 25:31. Qin Shi was speechless. Ziyu's theory was too strong, but she was starting to panic. Ziyu's words were all over the place, but the logic was there, wasn't it? She asked weakly, then should I make a call? Yes, go ahead. Ziyu tossed the empty milk box into the trash can and touched her chest, troubled. Why aren't my breasts growing after drinking so much milk? Qin Shi blushed at Ziyu's words. Ziyu sis, what are you talking about? Man, I say, Shi, you need to drink milk too. Lin Yi bro likes girls, Ziyu said. Look at that shoe sis beside him, how big are her breasts? Qin Shi paused and looked down at her chest. She picked up a box of milk and looked at it before putting it down again. Just when Ziyu was about to nag her again, Qin Shi picked up a box of papaya yogurt. I didn't know, Shi. You're the type of person who's always been quiet, but you're suddenly enlightened? Ziyu said, surprised. I like yogurt more. Qin Shi's face was burning, not daring to admit it. Oh, then you drink that strawberry yogurt. Ziyu pointed at the strawberry yogurt not far away. Qin Shi's face turned even redder. Ha, I'll stop teasing you. Call Linny bro now. Ziyu said. Oh. Qin Shi sighed in relief as she dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was in the kitchen making medicine for Xinyan when the phone rang. He didn't even look at it, picking it up. Hello. Lin bro. I'm Shi. Qin Shi was a little nervous. Oh, it's Shi. Haha, I've been busy lately and didn't have time to pay attention to you and Ziyu's studies. How are you? Can you get used to the high school curriculum? Lin Yi hadn't gone to middle school, but he'd heard Meng Yao talk about it from time to time. The curriculum of middle school and high school were different. The difficulty of high school suddenly increased, and some students would not be able to adapt for a period of time. Sis Ziyu and I are both fine. Qin Shi didn't know what to say to Lin Yi when Lin Yi took the initiative to talk about her studies. Qin Shi was very happy and went along with Lin Yi's words. I got first place in my cohort this time, and Ziyu sis is really good too. He's fifth in the cohort. So powerful? Lin Yi was surprised that Qin Shi got first place. To be honest, Lin Yi wasn't that surprised. After all, Qin Shi was a good student, but Ziyu was fifth in the whole year. She was quite shocked. You didn't copy it, did you? Qin Shi paused, stuttering after a while. I'm first. Who did you copy? No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Ziyu. Linny said. Linny bro, am I that bad? Can't I study well? Ziyu had been eavesdropping on the side and suddenly heard Lin Yi doubting her results. She wasn't happy. Why don't you trust me? I'm just saying. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. How about this? I'll go to Songshan and treat you guys to a meal when I'm free. Keep it up. Then, Qin Shi heard that Lin Yi was coming. She was very happy. Then I'll hang up first, Lin bro. All right, bye. Lin Yi hung up. Qin Shi held the phone, her face red. She breathed out in relief. She was so nervous. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you say anything? You hung up just like that? Really? Ziyu said angrily. Then what's there to say? Didn't we already say it? Chen Shi asked carefully. Say what? Just say it. You really don't know how to treasure opportunities. Ziyu said helplessly. Then I'll call back? Chen Shi didn't know what to do. Call back? What did you say? Ziyu was amused. I don't know. Chen Shi didn't know what to say. Forget it. Next time I say something, you learn it. If I don't help you, you'll cry for the rest of your life. Ziyu said. Okay, thanks, Ziyu sis. Chen Shi nodded seriously and said gratefully. Ziyu stood up. I'm going to shower and sleep. After hanging up, Lin Yi wasn't feeling very calm. Hearing Ziyu's voice, Lin Yi felt like there was a rock pressing down on his heart, reminding him of Armadillo. Picking up the phone, Lin Yi called Dafeng Bro. How was it going? Did he have complete control over Red Conk's forces in the country? Could he find out about Red Conk's stronghold overseas? Could he find out about Armadillo? Mr. Lin. The phone rang 4 or 5 times before it was picked up. Dafeng Bro's respectful voice came through. Dafeng, how's it going? You've become the big boss, right? Lin Yi asked faintly. Thanks to Mr. Lin, I became the leader of the Red Conk country's stronghold. At this point, Big Brother Feng's voice paused for a moment before he smiled bitterly. However, there's a problem. Oh? What do you mean? Linist, I've already paved the way for you, and you still can't handle it? Mr. Lin, there's nothing I can do. Maybe HQ doesn't trust me to have full authority, so while they didn't promote the second and third bosses, they sent a strategist over from HQ. He's called a strategist, but he has the same amount of authority as me. I have to discuss everything with him, and he's from HQ, so his words are more important than mine. Dafeng Bro said helplessly. He's the one making most of the decisions in Red Conk right now, and I can't even interfere. Oh? Is that so? Lin Yi frowned. It seemed like he'd thought things were a little too simple. He'd thought that Dafeng Bro would be able to take over after killing the leaders of the Red Conches, but he didn't think that the headquarters would send a parachute. However, when he thought about it carefully, it was understandable. In the past, the Red Conk stronghold was controlled by 3 heads. Now, only Big Brother Dafeng was left. Whether it was out of trust or to check and balance Big Brother Dafeng's power, it was normal for the headquarters to send another person. Chapter 25-32. If that's the case, then endure it for a while and see if there's a chance to get rid of him, Lin Yi said after a sigh. Boss, I can't get him to my side. He's the strategist from HQ, and it's a waste of his talent to come here. He's so arrogant and doesn't treat me as the boss at all, making all the decisions. Dafeng Bro said bitterly, and he's a sky class, how am I supposed to get rid of him? Normal people can't get rid of him. Lin Yi was startled. He didn't expect the strategist to be this strong, being a sky class. This was out of Lin Yi's expectations. Lin Yi thought about it and said, all right then, endure it and preserve your strength. Just don't let him get rid of you, I'll think of something. Hey boss, I'll be careful, Dafeng Bro said quickly. Lin Yi hung up and shook his head. It seemed like things weren't going as smoothly as he had imagined. Dafeng Bro didn't have any power in Red Conk, and in fact, he wasn't even as good as the boss of the bar. He was the boss in name, but his power was all taken away by the strategist. But it was no wonder that this strategist was sent by HQ, and he was a strategist in HQ, and he was a sky class as well. Why would he care about an earth class like Dafeng Bro? It seemed like he had to think about the pangolin carefully. If he really couldn't do it, then Lin Yi would have to find a chance to get rid of the strategist. He wondered how strong he was at sky class. But no matter what, as long as he was at sky class, he wouldn't be too weak. If he was at sky class, then unless Lin Yi ambushed him or used a chi bomb, Lin didn't have much confidence in winning. So Lin Yi wasn't in a rush. He had to find the pangolin, but he had to plan before he acted. He'd be an idiot if he acted rashly. Ziyu would blame Lin Yi for taking the risk even if she knew the truth. Xinyan had just finished her shower when Lin Yi was done brewing the medicine. Her body had the faint scent of a young girl and her body wash, and Lin Yi couldn't help but take a deep breath. Lin Yi couldn't get enough of this scent. Every time he inhaled it, he felt energized. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi knew that this scent was good for training, he wouldn't have been able to get enough of it. He almost thought it was a drug. Xinyan was wiping the water droplets off her hair when she realized that Lin Yi was standing beside her, sniffing at her scent. What are you doing? I'll get you the medicine, Lin Yi said awkwardly. We'll talk about it when we get in the room. It's not good to do it here. Xinyan lowered her voice as she glanced at Meng Yao and Yushu, who were watching TV not too far away. All right. Lin Yi handed the bowl to Xinyan. Xinyan felt a little sleepy after drinking the medicine. Lin Yi's medicine had a hypnotic effect as well, so Lin Yi didn't think too much of it. After Xinyan went to sleep, Lin Yi said goodbye to Meng Yao and Yushu before entering the room as well. At first, Lin Yi wanted to study the mystical steel rod, but now it seemed that training was more important. Lin Yi wasn't sky class yet, so there was no point in studying weapons. Even if the mystical steel rod could break through a practitioner's chi protection, it was only effective against low-leveled practitioners. It could be used against people like Tiger Wright and Zhao Qibing who didn't have much battle experience, but against those experienced practitioners, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to use it. Wouldn't they try to dodge or snatch it if they saw that it could break the chi barrier? So this thing wasn't very useful to Lin Yi at the moment. Lin Yi couldn't use it at all against practitioners below sky class, and if Lin Yi used it to fight against practitioners above sky class, it would be asking for a beating. They could send Lin Yi flying with just a weapon infused with chi. There was no use for it at all. Lin Yi got onto the bed and hugged Xinyan gently. He activated the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, preparing for a new night in pain and happiness. The pain was because he couldn't touch the beautiful girl in his arms, and the happiness was because his strength was improving rapidly, that place. The Xianxin ancestor looked at Taganlong on the sickbed, his heart filled with anger. Even the Xuanjin ancestor couldn't do anything about it. Taganlong's injuries were too serious, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that his life was hanging by a thread. He didn't know who was so vicious as to turn the chess piece of his important plan into such a state. Even if other than Taganlong, that place had also prepared a hidden one. This had been planned for decades after all, and failure was absolutely not allowed. But even so, the crippling of the Ming-Zi had an impact on the plan that couldn't be ignored. Although there was a hidden one, the hidden one had a huge flaw. Not to mention his physique, there was a huge flaw in his cooperation with other inheritors. That was why the Xianxin ancestor was so angry. Second brother, is there really no way to save Taganlong? The Xianxin ancestor asked unwillingly. There's no way. The Xuanjin ancestor shook his head. At least there's no way for now. I'm also looking through some ancient books, but in general, there's still hope. Sigh. The Xianxin ancestor sighed. That day is getting closer and closer. If Taganlong can't wake up before then we can only use the hidden one. Third brother, you don't have to worry too much. I'll work hard. The Xuanjin ancestor said, if big brother. The Xianxin ancestor's expression suddenly changed, and he became a little embarrassed. All right, third brother, I don't blame you. The accident back then was just an accident. You don't have to blame yourself. Although big brother hasn't contacted us all these years, he hasn't forgotten the ancestral teachings that master left behind. He's also preparing for our sect to return to that level. The Xuanjin ancestor said, Big brother is also working hard to find a wood element inheritor. I'm fine. The Xianxin ancestor smiled a little unnaturally. It's okay. If it really doesn't work, then we'll use the hidden one. I hope this time, the hidden one won't let us down. The hidden one is still fine. It shouldn't let us down, the Xuanjin ancestor said. As the two of them were talking, a disciple outside the door shouted, Master, martial uncle, I have something to report. Little one, come in, the Xuanjin ancestor said when he heard the voice outside. Yes, martial uncle. The person who walked in was the Xianxin ancestor's eldest disciple. Chapter 25:33. Master, your disciple was about to report this. Little one said, according to your arrangements, I've done my investigation. The everyday sect's disciple Zhang Naipeo was heavily injured in the Ice Palace's test, and he's been in isolation on the mountain for a while now. He hasn't left the mountain at all, nor has he been to the Wulong Haut Mountains. Yes, I've known about this. When the everyday sect denied it, I knew that it wasn't him. The Xianxin elder waved his hand, indicating for little one to continue. The everyday sect was also a sect that had retreated from that level, and had a long history. In terms of overall strength, they weren't afraid of that place, so if they said they didn't have it, then that meant that they didn't. But Zhang Naipeo hasn't been in the sect for long, and his name is only known in his sect. Other ancient sects, other than the Ice Palace, don't know about this person. Little one said, if the person who injured Tagunlong said Zhang Naipeo's name, then it could be a hidden house, the Ice Palace, or an enemy of Naipeo in the common world. It shouldn't be anyone else. Ice Palace? Impossible. The Xianxin elder waved his hand and said faintly, the Ice Palace is of the same lineage as us, and they know a thing or two about our future plans. It's not very detailed, but at least they wouldn't go against us. Little one nodded quickly. Yes, then master, what should we do now? Go investigate two things right now. One, who did Zhang Naipeo offend in the Ice Palace test, and how did he get this injury? Secondly, we need to find out where Naipeo's hometown. After that, we'll see if we can find the two murderers. The Xianxin elder ordered, especially that girl who took the treasure, see if she's from Naipeo's hometown. Yes, master. Xiao Yi nodded quickly after listening. We go. The Xianxin elder waved his hand and let little one leave. Lin Yi didn't mean to frame him back then. He didn't think too much about it. He didn't expect Patriarch Black Earth's intelligence to be so high. He thought of many things based on this clue and quickly investigated him. Early the next morning, Lin Yi carefully put down the sleeping Wang Xinyan and walked to the kitchen. Xinyan didn't wake up today. She didn't sleep too early before. Plus, it was only 5 in the morning. It made sense that Xinyan wasn't awake yet. Meng Yao and Yushu came downstairs after they finished preparing breakfast. Xinyan was the last to wake up, yawning as she walked out of the room. Wow, Shield Bro, why is Sister Xinyan so sleepy? Didn't you guys sleep early? What did he do in the middle of the night? Yushu asked, surprised. Xinyan's face reddened. She knew what Shu meant. However, she really didn't get up to do anything. She was really sleepy. However, Xinyan knew that explaining was just covering up. The more you tried to explain, the more it showed that you were guilty. She blushed but didn't say anything. I did it all right? Lin Yi said with a smile. Lin Yi said that to break the awkward atmosphere. Oh, you really did it? Yushu's eyes widened. Shield Bro, hurry up and tell Shu, what did it feel like? Bang! Meng Yao smashed the fresh milk bottle on Yushu's head, causing her to fall to the ground and cry out. I'm just teasing you, you're serious? If you really think that, just do it with Lin Yi and you'll know. Yushu cried, holding her head as she got up from the ground. There's a bump on my head. Yao Yao is too cruel. Hurry up and eat. Meng Yao took a deep breath. Although she had accepted Xinyan and the fact that Lin Yi was looking for a big wife, she was still a little angry when she heard that Lin Yi and Xinyan did it. Although she knew that Lin Yi was probably joking, she couldn't help but get angry. However, he couldn't help but get angry, so Shu became his punching bag. Poor unlucky Shu. Oh, Yao Yao's on her period these days. Yushu covered her head and whispered to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Why was the miss so angry so early in the morning? Xinyan paused, believing Yushu's words. She sympathized with her, getting a bump on her head early in the morning. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao came, and no one brought up the topic again. They ate breakfast together and drove to school. Zhao Qibing returned to the hidden house Zhao overnight and went to visit old Zhao. Although old Zhao was a practitioner, he was old, and the qi in the outside world wasn't as abundant as in Lin Yi's jade space. He needed to sleep at night, but he still went to see Zhao Qibing after knowing that he was back. Grandpa, I'm back. After Zhao Qibing entered the room, he respectfully took out the technique he got from House Yu and presented it to Elder Zhao. This is the technique I got from the hidden House Yu. And not bad. Old Zhao nodded in satisfaction. He was pleased that Zhao Qibing took out the technique as soon as he came back. he said to Elder Mian. Elder Mian, go make a copy and put it in our hidden house Zhao's library. Yes, old master. Elder Mian took the manual from Zhao Qibing and went to the back room to copy it down. How was it? You didn't cause any trouble at the hidden house, did you? Old Zhao asked. There wasn't much trouble, the process was smooth. My uncle gave me 2 manuals, one easy and one difficult, Qibing said honestly. That's right, it's not that troublesome. Then did you get the easy one or the hard one? Old Zhao raised a brow. I got the hard one, and although it takes a lot of effort to practice it, it's quite powerful after mastering it. Zhao Qibing said, because I know one thing, and that is, only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top. Chapter 25:34. Grandpa, this skill is called 1,000 kicks, it's insane. The first form is twice the strength of a normal skill, and as the level increases, each form is equal to a normal skill plus 1 form. In other words, 1 form is equal to 2 forms, 2 forms are equal to 3 forms, 3 forms are equal to 4 forms, and so on. Most importantly, the second form can activate 2 skills at the same time, and that's why it's called 1,000 kicks. The first form can activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on. Qibing explained. Oh, it's that powerful? Old Zhao's eyes widened. He didn't think that the hidden house would be so generous, giving Zhao Qibing such a powerful technique. He was afraid that the hidden house would give him a normal technique to fool Zhao Qibing. It's powerful, but it's troublesome to practice. Qibing smiled bitterly. The prerequisite is, to practice 1,000 kicks, you must break your legs first, and you must break your legs 9 times to activate 1 form. What? In order to practice this martial art technique, he has to break his leg? Old Master Zhao was stunned. No way, right? Isn't that the same as hurting yourself? Yeah, but I think that breaking my legs 9 times isn't that much. Grandpa, you forgot that my legs have been broken many times already? It doesn't matter if I break them a few more times. Qibing said, plus, I heard that some people even castrate themselves to practice. That's true. Old Zhao nodded, but there aren't 9 times, right? I think there were 5 times? What about the rest of the times? I'll just break my own legs. Pin Liang started regretting it all of a sudden. He'd probably have broken his legs again if he'd kept showing off to Lin Yi with Elder Bai back at the hotel. Breaking 1 leg was 1 less chance for him, and he still had to worry about his broken legs. Not bad, you're ambitious, very skillful. That's my grandson. Old Zhao was very pleased and gave him a thumbs up. He said, Qibing, I've been observing you for a while now, but I realize that you're a child who likes to enjoy life. Although you've contributed a lot to the hidden Zhao family, contributions are contributions. I don't know if you can shoulder the responsibility of the family, so I've been hesitating. But today, after listening to your words, I understand your ambition. You are a child who can endure hardship. This 1,000 legs is very powerful. As long as you master it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. Our hidden Zhao family is very powerful. There's hope for the future. Zhao Qibing was pleasantly surprised after hearing his grandpa's words. He didn't think that he would be so lucky. Because he had broken his legs too many times, he had chosen a martial technique. Unexpectedly, it had become Old Man Zhao's determination to choose him as the young patriarch. This made Zhao Qibing feel lucky. If it wasn't for the fact that his legs were broken by Lin Yi so many times, he wouldn't have chosen this self-torturing technique. It was precisely because his legs were broken that he was used to it. Grandpa, don't worry, I will train hard and lead the hidden house Zhao to glory. Qibing said respectfully. Yes. Then you go back first, I want to rest. Old Master Zhao said. Ah, wait, Grandpa, I have something important to discuss with you. Qibing said. Is there anything else? Asked Old Man Zhao. Grandpa, when I went to the hidden house I fell in love with Uncle's daughter, Cousin Yuning. I was wondering if I could ask Uncle for her hand in marriage. Let me marry Cousin Yuning, then we'll be even closer. Qibing said. I see. Old Zhao didn't show any signs of disgust or happiness, he only nodded faintly. I understand, I'll think about it. Logically speaking, this is a good thing, but I don't know if the hidden house you will agree to it. You know, because of the Qi gathering pill, we're not on good terms with the hidden house you. I'm very surprised that you were able to get the martial arts technique this time. If we were to propose, I'm afraid that the hidden house you would reject it, and it wouldn't look good on our hidden house Zhao's face either. Yes, Grandpa, that's why I didn't ask the hidden house you directly, I wanted to discuss it with you. Qi Bing's heart skipped a beat. He really had that intention this time. The hidden house yu's princess was not only beautiful, she was like a fairy tale girl. Most importantly, if he married Yuning, then the position of the young master of House Zhao would be secure. Wasn't that the case with his father, Zhao Guangyin? You go back first, I understand. Old man Zhao waved his hand, indicating that Qi Bing could leave. Qi Bing didn't dare to say anything else and quickly left. In fact, old man Zhao and Qi Bing had the same thought. He also thought that if Qi Bing could marry Yuning, then he would be able to push Qi Bing to the top, and there would be less resistance. So, this matter could really be manipulated. After Qi Bing went back, he took out the 1,000 kicks technique and started to study his legs. Breaking his legs 9 times, wasn't that a bit too cruel? Normal people wouldn't be able to do that, but in order to practice this technique, Qi Bing had to break both his legs. Qi Bing found a large hammer, gritted his teeth, closed his eyes, and smashed it towards his legs. Bang! Ouch! Qi Bing cried out in pain, but his legs didn't break. Other than a bruise, there was no other injury. Qi Bing was an Earth-class early phase master now, after all. He had pure Qi to protect his body. When he was hurt, he unconsciously used his pure Qi to protect his body, but after this hammer hit, his legs didn't break, but he was in so much pain that he was sweating profusely. Damn it, it hurt so much. This broken leg is not something that can be broken by an ordinary person. Qi Bing clenched his teeth in pain. He saw how easily Lin Yi broke his legs, but it wasn't easy for him. It seemed like this was a skill as well. Qi Bing waited for a while before gritting his teeth and raising the hammer once more. This time, he tried to avoid using pure Qi to protect himself. Another loud bang sounded, and Pin Liang let go of the hammer with a howl, clutching his leg as he jumped around on the ground. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Did it break this time? Chapter 25-35. Whatever, I'll go find Lin Yi tomorrow morning, he's experienced. Qi Bing tossed the hammer aside and limped to his bed. As for practicing, he didn't do it often. Why would he need to practice if he had pills? Pills were precious, but House Zhao was working hard to train him, so maybe he'd be able to buy better pills in the future. Above the minor Qi gathering pill was the Qi gathering pill. However, legend had it that above the minor Qi gathering pill, there was another type of pill that could increase one's strength after taking it. However, the pill recipe for this type of pill was already extinct, so it rarely appeared in the cultivation world. Some were found in some ancient ruins and were not easily sold. Although this pill was a second-grade pill, it could only be refined by a cultivator who had reached the peak of the second grade. Even so, it was easier to refine than the third-grade Qi gathering pill. It was just that no one could refine it because they didn't have the recipe. The next morning, Qi Bing was waiting at the entrance of Donghai Engineering University. He saw Lin Yi's jeep coming from afar and quickly ran over, blocking Lin Yi's car. "Stop the car!" Qi Bing yelled. If they weren't in front of the school, Lin Yi would have hit the gas pedal already. Was this guy sick in the head? What are you doing? Lin Yi stopped the car and looked at Qi Bing coldly. Get the fuck out, I don't want to beat you up today, I'm going to class. Qi Bing yelled. Did you take your medicine today? You think you're strong just because you're an Earth class early phase? Do you want to follow in Elder Bai's footsteps? Lin Yi frowned, but he was surprised that Qi Bing had suddenly become an Earth-class early phase. Did he eat all the small Qi gathering pills he sold? Ugh, I don't want to. Qi Bing jumped. He came here to break his legs, not to become a cripple. If he became like Elder Bai, he wouldn't be able to train his legs anymore. He'd just lie in bed and wait for death. Then why are you still here? Lin Yi felt that there was something wrong with Qi Bing today. Actually, my leg is a little itchy, can you break it for me? Qibing hesitated and said. Lin Yi looked at Qibing and frowned. It's not that you didn't take your meds, you took the wrong ones. Hurry up and get lost, don't talk nonsense here. Boss Lin Yi, I didn't say anything strange. My leg is really itchy and I want to break it. Can you help me? Qibing panicked. Why wasn't Lin Yi angry today? Logically speaking, Lin Yi would have long been angry if she came to show off in front of him. If your legs are itchy, break them yourself. Don't look for me. Lin Yi started the car and charged towards Qibing. Qibing was an Earth-class early phase anyways, as long as he didn't catch him off guard. He had pure qi protecting his body, and the car wouldn't be able to kill him. But don't. Qibing jumped when he saw Lin Yi driving his car into him. He quickly dodged, but he remembered that he was an Earth-class early phase master, and the car wouldn't be able to kill him. He wasn't willing to give up and jumped onto the hood of Lin Yi's car. Boss Lin Yi, if you don't agree, I'll keep hugging your car and not let go. I'll follow you wherever you go until you agree. Are you a pain in the ass? Lin Yi was pissed as well. He stopped the car and grabbed Zhao Qibing's collar, pulling him out of the car and throwing him on the ground. You're not letting go of my car, are you? Yes. I won't let go until you break my leg. Qibing started singing shamelessly. I just won't let go, 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 hee hee. Alright, I got it. Lin Yi walked to Qibing's side and raised his foot, and under Qibing's happy and joyful gaze, tragedy struck. Lin Yi's foot wasn't on Qibing's legs, but on Qibing's arms. With two crisp cracking sounds, Qibing's arms were broken by Lin. Oh my god, it hurts so much. Qibing howled in pain after losing both his arms. Now that your arms are broken, let's see how you're going to hold on to my car. With that, Lin Yi went back to the car and ignored Qibing. He started the car and drove into the school's parking lot. Wah, I'm dying of laughter. Yushu saw the whole thing from the car and burst into laughter. Qibing's so happy now he wanted to break his legs, but now his arms are broken. Mengyao didn't know what to say. Qibing was just too unlucky, running into someone like Lin Yi who didn't play by the rules. It was destined to be a tragedy, but she was a little confused. Qibing isn't an idiot. Why would he suddenly come up with such a stupid request? I'm not sure, but it must be something good for him. Otherwise, he'd have to be crazy. Lin Yi said faintly. He didn't care about Qibing at all, but he didn't want to listen to his orders for no reason. So, instead of breaking Qibing's legs, Lin Yi broke his arms. After parking the car, Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xinyan went to the biology building for class, while Mengyao, Yushu, and Han Xiaoqiao went to the economics building. Only the tragic Qibing was left lying in front of the school gate, moaning in pain. His arms were broken, and he couldn't even call his family to pick him up. Pin Liang and Xiaofu went back to their place and packed their stuff. Before they left, they passed by the school gate, and Xiaofu paused when he saw someone lying there. Liang bro, why is there someone lying there? Who cares, let's go. I can't wait another minute, I'm going up the mountain. Pin Liang said impatiently. Liang bro, that person? Xiaofu called out in surprise when the car got closer. Are you done? Pin Liang slapped Xiaofu's face. Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? I got beaten up by Zhao Qibing from a hidden house. I'm going up the mountain to get my master's help and get revenge. Xiaofu covered his face, feeling wronged. Liang bro, that person on the ground is Zhao Qibing. What? Pin Liang froze, enraged. Why didn't you say so earlier? Stop the car. Chapter 25:36. Gao Xiaofu thought to himself, you're the one who didn't let me say it, you even gave me a slap. I'm so unlucky. But he only said it in his heart, not daring to say it to Pin Liang. Otherwise, he'd get another slap. Pin Liang didn't wait for Xiaofu's explanation and jumped out of the car. As expected, he saw Qibing howling in pain in front of the school gate, his arms bent unnaturally. He didn't know what was going on, but he was sure that he was injured. It was a godsend. Pin Liang was overjoyed as he sprinted over and kicked Qibing's face. You motherfucker! Aren't you supposed to be so strong? Aren't you strong? You're finished too, aren't you? Ah! Qibing was thinking that he'd get up and run back to his house after his arm got better, but he didn't expect a leather shoe to step on his face. It wasn't that painful, but it gave him a fright. Who's there? Qibing turned his head and saw Zhong Pingliang. He quickly used his pure energy to protect his body. Zhong Pingliang, why are you here again? I've finally found your weakness, haven't I? Weren't you going to beat me up? Aren't you very strong? Why aren't you acting now? Pin Liang laughed as he continued to kick Qibing's face. But this time, Qibing had pure qi protection, so he could defend against Pin Liang's attacks. Even if my arm is broken, you can't do anything to me. Lin Yi won your weapon, what can you do to me? Qibing knew about this as well, so he wasn't afraid at all. Pin Liang kicked for a long time before remembering that Qibing was an Earth-class practitioner with pure qi protection. Lin Yi could beat him up, but he couldn't do anything to him. He was a little depressed. But then, Pin Liang had an idea. He saw Qibing's bent arm and stepped on it. Hiss. Qibing took in a cold breath, cold sweat dripping down his back. Although he had true qi to protect his body, he only used it to protect his body. Pin Liang's attack was ineffective against him, but the broken arm was different. Although the force of the attack was negated, Pin Liang's kick caused Qibing's arm to shift. The arm was broken in the first place, and shifting it would naturally cause more pain. Pin Liang was overjoyed to see that it worked. She kept kicking Qibing's wounds, but Qibing was a practitioner after all, he could still endure the pain. It was just a simple injury, so he scoffed, "If you want to torture me like this, go ahead. It's just a little pain, I can still endure it, you can continue," Qibing said. Pin Liang, on the other hand, lost interest. In fact, he was a little annoyed. He could tell. Qibing was in pain, but it wasn't to the point where he was going to cry for his mom and dad. Pin Liang lost interest and let Qibing go, a little depressed. He turned back to the car. Drive over him. Pin Liang was depressed. He wanted to discuss Qibing. He knew that he couldn't run over him, but it wouldn't feel good to be run over. Okay, Xiaofu quickly started the car. The car ran over Qibing's body. Qibing had true qi to protect his body, but there were still wheel marks all over his body. He was very depressed. However, when he saw the position of the wheel print, he felt a chill run down his spine. Qibing was about to cry. Fuck, isn't this my leg? If I didn't use true qi to protect myself, wouldn't my leg have been crushed by the car? At that thought, Qibing quickly called out, Wait. Pin Liang frowned. He stuck his head out of the window and looked at Qibing, impatient. What? You haven't had enough of being run over yet, do you want to be run over again? That's it. Zhao Qibing quickly nodded. Just reverse the car and come back. Just like before, aim at my legs and run over. Are you crazy? All right, I'll satisfy you then. Pin Liang didn't know what Qibing meant, but he ordered Xiaofu, reverse the car and roll back the way we came. Yes, Liang bro. Xiaofu thought that Qibing's brain had gone haywire. Was there something wrong with him? Why was he asking someone to roll over him? Was there something wrong with him? But he carried out Pin Liang's order with determination, reversing the car and rolling it back. But Gao Xiaofu wasn't Qibing, he wasn't a professional racer. His driving skills were passable, but he wasn't as accurate as he was when reversing. As a result, when the car went over Qibing's body, it went over Qibing's feet. Ouch! Qibing howled in pain, almost going berserk. Fuck you, Zhong Pingliang. I told you to roll over my leg. Why did you roll over my feet? He didn't use true qi to protect himself this time, so both his feet were fractured. The pain was unbearable, but he was more angry than anything else. Why are you so nosy? Pin Liang's status wasn't the same as before. He didn't dare talk back to Lin Yi, but Qibing was different. As far as he was concerned, he was just a disciple of the hidden house Zhao. What was he trying to do? Pin Liang was getting impatient. Gao Xiaofu, drive. Ignore him. Yes, Liang bro. Xiaofu replied quickly as he started the car and drove forward. When Qibing wasn't paying attention, the car ran over his feet once more, and it was too late for him to use pure chi to protect himself. His broken bones were even more serious now, and he couldn't even stand up anymore. He'd probably have to crawl back to the hospital. Zhong Pingyang, just you wait. You'll die when I master my 1,000 legs. Qibing cursed in his heart, but he didn't dare to say it out loud. Pingyang's car sped away, disappearing in front of the school gates. Qibing, on the other hand, was extremely gloomy. Today was his unlucky day. Qibing regretted not looking at the almanac. Why was he so unlucky? Originally, he wanted to stand up and run back after resting, but his legs couldn't run anymore. Therefore, he could only crawl. However, crawling back would embarrass him and the hidden Zhao family. How could he stay in East Ocean City in the future? Qibing, who was in despair, suddenly saw a familiar face, sitting in a sports car heading his way. It was Pan Hu. Coiling tiger right, coiling tiger right. Qibing shouted. Chapter 25:37. First I got beaten up by Lin Yi, then Zhong Pinliang. Qibing didn't have anything to hide from Tiger Right Hand. He'd be able to find out if he wanted to, so Qibing told him the truth. You're really unlucky then. Pan Hu Right didn't gloat, but felt pity for him. After all, these two were people he couldn't afford to mess with. He was just as unlucky to meet them. Yeah, can you give my family a call? Let Elder Mian pick me up, I can't go back, my arms and legs can't move anymore. Qibing smiled bitterly. Do me a favor, and I won't mind you calling me to get beaten up. We'll forget about our grudges. Sure. Pan Hu Right agreed quickly. He didn't want to start a feud with Qibing. He was forced by Zhong Pinliang, so he tricked Qibing to get beaten up. Now that he had a chance to ease the tension, he wouldn't be stupid enough to give it up. Pan Hu Right followed Qibing's instructions and made a call. Now, do you need my help? No need, I'll just wait for a bit. Qibing shook his head. Thank you. You're welcome. Pan Hu Right was just being polite and let Blondie drive into the school. After a while, Elder Mian rushed over and brought Qibing back. After understanding the truth of the matter, Elder Mian's face was filled with helplessness. He gave Qibing a small recovery pill. The hidden house Zhao still had a lot of these second-level pills, and they all came from the practitioner's market. Zhao Qibing, who had returned to normal, went to Elder Zhao in a depressed manner. Qibing, what's wrong with you? Didn't you say you could break your own legs? Why did you go to Linny? Elder Zhao asked, not looking too good. Qibing was fine, but he'd lost the face of House Zhao. Grandpa, I had no choice. I tried a few times yesterday, but it didn't work. You need a lot of courage to hit yourself. Qibing smiled helplessly. Lin Yi was the one who broke my legs, clean and neat, so I thought of going to him. Who knew this guy wouldn't play by the rules and broke my arms? Qibing smiled bitterly. Lin Yi broke my legs. Don't you know that Lin Yi doesn't always play by the rules? Old Zhao himself didn't dare to go against Lin Yi, so Zhao Qibing was at a disadvantage. He could only accept it. Forget it, what do you want to do then? Grandpa, can you help me? Qibing hesitated and asked. Old Zhao's face twitched as he looked at Qibing's legs. He was a sky class, but he couldn't break his grandson's legs with his own hands. This was also why he couldn't kill Qikuan himself. He could only use the Sky Elixir Sec's hand to make him have an accident in the Sky Elixirs test. After all, this was his grandchild. He couldn't do it. But this time, he was helping Qibing with his training, so he wasn't harming him. He thought about it. I'll think about it, I'll adjust my mentality. All right, Qibing nodded. I'll be leaving then, Grandpa. Rest well. Songshan's first school, a transfer student came today. It wasn't a rare thing for a transfer student to come to a prestigious school like Songshan's first high, but this transfer student was different. When he arrived at the school, it was extremely grand. 4 black Mercedes-Benz cars led the way, and in the middle was a Rolls-Royce. Behind the Rolls-Royce were 4 Audi Q7s. It looked like a rich man's wedding. A cool-looking young man with sunglasses walked down from the Rolls-Royce. He was Qin Xiaoba, the only son of the city's mafia boss, Ba Bro. Ingziyu, I've finally found you. Chen Xiaoba said with a smile as he got off the car. looking at the sign on the school gate. Chen Xiaoba was one of Ziyu's pursuers, and the story started a few days ago. Chen Xiaoba and a few friends came to Songshan to play, and when they were eating at a restaurant, they saw Ziyu teaching a pervert a lesson. She was so cool, and Chen Xiaoba was mesmerized by her. He was a gangster in the first place, and he was very interested in hot girls like Ziyu who were obviously different from delinquents. He went up to talk to her, but she ignored him and left with Chen Xi after paying the bill. Chen Xiaoba was a gangster, but he wasn't an idiot. He didn't know who Ziyu was in Songshan, and he didn't dare do anything inappropriate. He only took a picture of her with his phone, preparing to investigate her background later. With Chen Xiaoba's background and power, investigating someone was way too easy. Soon, Ziyu's information appeared in front of him. Ziyu, female, 16 years old, graduated from Songshan Fushan High, the big sister of one of the big three powers there. Never had a boyfriend, currently studying at Songshan's first high. She had turned over a new leaf, working hard at her studies. One of the big four, Zhou Ruoming, was there to protect her. This never had a boyfriend made Chen Xiaoba's eyes light up. This was great. How could he let go of a girl like this? Next, he looked at Zhou Ruoming's information. Zhou Ruoming, male, 20 years old, one of the big four of Songshan's first high, a repeat student. His father, Zhou Tiandi, was a famous entertainment tycoon in Songshan. His business was half illegal, half legal. His brother, Zhou Ruoguang, was a gangster boss in the North District. Chen Xiaoba snorted coldly after looking at Zhou Ruoming's information. Zhou Ruoming's family was nothing but a gangster in his eyes. He didn't know what relationship Zhou Ruoming had with Ziyu and why he was protecting her at school, but Chen Xiaoba wasn't worried at all. He believed that Zhou Ruoming wouldn't dare interfere with him going after Ziyu. In fact, his guess was right. Zhou Ruoming didn't dare warn Chen Xiaoba after knowing his identity. This was a person he couldn't afford to offend. Chapter 25:38. Oh, you can't handle it? Ziyu paused. As far as she could remember, House Zhou was a very powerful family in Songshan, at least able to take care of everything in the underworld. This was also why Ziyu and Chen Shi didn't get harassed by boys, but Chen Xiaoba's arrival broke that balance. Yeah, Chen Xiaoba's father, Chen Bong, is the temporary boss of the underworld, much bigger than us. Zhou Ruoming said, a little embarrassed. Miss Ziyu, I don't have a choice. They're too strong. Should we contact Boss Lin Yi? Ziyu frowned. To be honest, she didn't want to trouble Lin Yi with something as small as this. Lin Yi wasn't in Songshan right now, and it wasn't convenient for him to go back and forth. So she thought of Zihua. He was a big boss in Songshan, and she had his contact too. She just never used it. I'll ask Zihua, Ziyu said. If it wasn't necessary, she didn't want to trouble Lin Yi with something as small as this, as if she and Chen Shi had a lot of things to do. Alright, Zihua Bro's position is about the same as Chen Boang. His words should be effective. Zhou Ruoming nodded. And so, Ziyu gave Zihua a call and told him what happened. Zihua didn't reject her, only saying that he needed to investigate first and that he'd get back to her later. In fact, Zihua didn't need to investigate. Since Ziyu said that, it was most likely true. There was no need to investigate. He just wanted to ask Qibing if he should help or not. Hello. Qibing had just recovered and was resting on the bed. He picked up Zihua's call weakly. Zihua, didn't I say that you don't need to call me if there's nothing important? You can take care of the business there. Zihua nodded. Zihua, I told you not to call me if there's nothing important. Master Bing, there's something I need your help with here. Zihua said quickly. What is it? You still need me? Qibing asked. It's like this, Ying Ziyu's being harassed by Chen Xiaoba, and she wants me to mediate. Zihua said carefully. Who is Ying Ziyu? Which one is Chen Xiaoba? Qibing paused. He couldn't recall the existence of these two people in his memory. Ying Ziyu is Lin Yi's godsister, and Chen Xiaoba is the son of a temporary mafia boss. Zihua explained. Wait, what did you say? Ziyu is Lin Yi's godsister? Qibing's eyes lit up when he heard Lin Yi's name. He sat up on the bed and asked, Are you sure? Yes, this is accurate. Sihua nodded. Lin even took her out to get her hair done, treating her really well. He even had Zhou Ruoming look after her at school. Ha! Pin Liang started laughing. This is a godsend, a godsend. What do you mean? Sihua didn't understand why Qibing was laughing all of a sudden. He could only test the waters. Master Bing, do you mean that we don't care? Let Chen Xiaoba harass Ing Ziyu and make things difficult for Lin? Of course not. Qibing said quickly. Of course we will. But wait for my phone call, wait for my order, and I'll make that Chen Xiaoba scram. All right, I got it. Sihua was confused. He didn't know what Qibing was so excited about, but since it was an order from Qibing, he would carry it out without holding back. He used to be Qibing's follower, and Qibing was now the heir of the hidden house Xiao. This meant that Sihua had to follow Qibing's footsteps even more closely. Qibing hung up and ran out of the house. This time he was smarter. He didn't come alone, only bringing a follower, Zhao Qishu. He even brought a wheelchair with him, driving his car all the way to Donghai Engineering University. They entered the biology building and found Lin Yi's class. They knocked on the door, and Boss Bai opened it with a frown. He looked at Qibing, who was standing at the door. What do you want? Hello, teacher. I'm looking for Lin Yi, Qibing said politely. Oh, wait a second. Boss Bai's face softened a little when he heard that it was for Lin. Lin Yi was a student with special privileges, so it wasn't a problem if he didn't listen in class. If it were any other student, Boss Bai wouldn't let them go unless it was an emergency. Lin Yi, someone's looking for you. Boss Bai said to Lin Yi after returning to the classroom. Someone's looking for me? Lin Yi paused but quickly walked out of the classroom. He was even more confused when he saw Qibing standing in front of him. Why are you here again? Lin Yi boss, it's like this. I have something urgent to report to you. Qibing was afraid that Lin Yi would just leave and ignore him, so he quickly used an emergency to stop Lin Yi. What is it? Lin Yi was a little impatient, but he still asked. Ing Ziyu, she's in Songshan, and she's being harassed. Qibing didn't dare waste time. Harassed? How do you know? Lin Yi frowned. What's going on? Who's harassing her? Is there any trouble? Not at the moment. Qibing saw the frown on Lin Yi's face and knew that Lin Yi was worried about Ziyu. He felt that there was a chance. I got the news from Sihua, Lin Yi boss. Do you need my help? Can I get Sihua to warn her? Zhou Ruoming didn't do it? Lin Yi felt that this was a little strange. The son of the mafia boss, Zhou Ruoming, can't do it yet. Qibing said. Only Sihua can do it? Of course, Boss Lin Yi would be able to do it yourself, but I'm sure you don't have the time, right? Oh, so you're here to ask for a reward, right? Lin Yi nodded. Haha, it's not really asking for a reward. I'll help you deal with Ziyu, and you'll reward me by breaking my leg. How's that? Qibing looked at Lin Yi expectantly. Lin Yi spat on Qibing's face and started coughing. Cough, cough, cough. You're not sick, are you? No, I'm fine, aren't I? I've recovered from all my injuries. Qibing said. Then why do you want to break your leg? Lin Yi asked curiously. Don't ask, I just want to break my leg. Qibing said. Chapter 25-39. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Although Lin Yi could go to Songshan himself, it was a little rushed and troublesome. It wasn't worth it for a small fry like him, so it was a good thing that Qibing could do it for him. But Qibing's request was too special. His reward was to break his legs? Anyone with a normal mind wouldn't make such a request. Unless he had some other special purpose, but what special purpose could Qibing have? Was breaking his legs good for him? Lin Yi couldn't think of anything. Besides, Lin Yi didn't want to think about it anymore. Even if he didn't break Qibing's legs, Qibing would find a way to do it. Breaking Qibing's legs was as easy as lifting a finger. Great, I'll make the call now. Qibing was overjoyed. He picked up the phone and dialed Sihua's number, ordering excitedly, Sihua, go tell that little bastard to fuck off. Yes, Master Bing. Sihua didn't know why Qibing was so excited, but he nodded anyway. All right, I'll go now. Qibing hung up and waved his phone at Lin Yi proudly. It's done, shouldn't it be my reward? Lin Yi kicked Qibing's legs twice, and with two crisp cracking sounds, Qibing's legs were broken. Ha, that's great. Qibing was in pain and happy at the same time. His legs were finally broken, and it was done so cleanly. Ki-15 quickly helped Qibing into the wheelchair, but Qibing couldn't stop laughing. Boss Lin, you're too amazing. Your leg-breaking technique is unparalleled, fast, good, and thorough. It's godlike. Lin Yi was speechless at Qibing's compliments. Lin Yi boss, I'll definitely find you to break my legs again in the future. It feels so good, so good. Qibing said. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving, Lin Yi said to Qibing's incomparably brainless behavior. He didn't want to say anything else. Okay, thank you. Qibing said gratefully. Lin Yi shrugged and entered the classroom. Qibing, on the other hand, left Donghai Industry University in high spirits. Ki-15 didn't know the truth, and he didn't dare to ask. He was wondering if Master Bing had a problem with his leg, to think that someone had broken it. But he was so happy. What kind of train of thought was this? Sihua received Qibing's order and immediately went to talk to Chen Xiaoba. Chen Xiaoba didn't expect the famous Sihua to come to him on his first day in Songshan. Although he wasn't happy, he had to lower his head in Sihua's territory. Boss Li, what can I do for you? Chen Xiaoba was in the middle of chasing Ziyu when Sihua's men called him to a Mercedes-Benz at the school gates. Chen Xiaoba, how's your father? Sihua asked. Not bad. Thank you for your concern, Boss Li. Chen Xiaoba said politely, not knowing what Sihua was trying to say. Chen Xiaoba, this is Songshan, not a neighboring city. Go back. I'm just giving you a friendly reminder, don't cause trouble here. Sihua said. Boss Li, what do you mean? Chen Xiaoba's face changed. Can't I come to school here? That's not it, it's just that Ziyu has a brother, a tough guy. He asked me to tell you on his behalf. Sihua drew a clear line between himself and Chen Bawang so that it wouldn't affect his business dealings with him. Her brother? He's in the underworld too? Chen Xiaoba frowned. That's not it. But it was my boss who told me about this personally, so I hope young Master Chen can give me some face. Otherwise, it'll be hard for me. Sihua threatened faintly. You know that I'm just a spokesperson, everything is up to my boss. I understand. I'll go back now, Boss Li. Chen Xiaoba didn't want to, but he didn't dare go against Sihua's words. After all, this was Sihua's territory. It didn't matter if his father was Chen Bawang. Of course, he didn't want to give up just like that. If he couldn't do it openly, he'd have to do it in the dark. It seemed like Sihua was only doing this on someone else's behalf, so he wouldn't be paying attention to Ziyu's movements all the time. He just needed to wait for the commotion to die down and he'd make his move in the dark. Chen Xiaoba didn't think that Ziyu had any powerful backgrounds. Her brother probably knew the person behind Sihua and asked his grandpa to tell him. After all, Ziyu didn't look like a girl from a rich family, and everything she ate was normal. She went to a bad school, Fushan High. That's good. Sihua nodded. After leaving Zihua's car, Chen Xiaoba left Songshan on the same day. He wasn't happy about it, but he didn't show it. He didn't believe that Sihua would do the same thing next time, even if he did. Chen Xiaoba wasn't afraid of Sihua at all. He knew that Sihua's boss was the Hidden House Zhao, but his father, Chen Bong, was also the Hidden House Zhuang. Who didn't have some kind of background these days? Especially someone like Chen Bong, someone who could control an entire city's underworld business. If he didn't have a strong background, he'd be swallowed by other gangs a long time ago. But with a giant like the Hidden House Zhuang, all of them practitioners, which gang would be stupid enough to go against them? It was a one-sided death wish. Chen Xiaoba, on the other hand, was giving face to the Hidden House Zhao. They wouldn't cause trouble on their turf, but whether or not he would do anything to Ziyu depended on the Hidden House Zhuang's attitude. After Chen Xiaoba left Songshan, Lin Yi received a message from Qibing. Boss Lin, Sihua has talked to Chen Xiaoba and told him to piss off. Don't worry. I'm happy to be of service to you. I hope you won't reject me the next time I ask you to break your legs. Thank you. Lin Yi was speechless as he read Qibing's message. He really couldn't understand why Qibing was so interested in a broken leg. Could it be that this guy had found some weird training method, similar to Zhang Naipeo? Shaking his head, Lin Yi went back to practicing, smelling Xinyan's fragrance. Lin Yi was racing against time, constantly improving his strength. It wasn't just for Xiao Xiao anymore, it was for himself. His enemies were getting stronger and stronger, and while most of the noble houses were basically following Lin Yi's lead, most of the hidden houses weren't on good terms with Lin. Some were even enemies. Chapter 2548 _ School Bells Bodyguard Free Reading _ Chapter 2548. Chapter 2540. The reason why he couldn't practice alchemy was because of the ancient sections. The ancient sects didn't even need to be mentioned, so he had to get stronger as soon as possible to protect himself and his family. Lin Yi, come with me to the office. After the morning class, Boss Bai said to Lin. Lin Yi quickly returned to reality from the space of the jade pendant and nodded. Under the envious gaze of Right Coiling Tiger, Lin Yi followed Boss Bai out of the classroom and walked in the direction of his office. Lin Yi is really lucky. He has the favor of a beauty and Boss Bai to guide him in alchemy. It's really infuriating. Right Coiling Tiger muttered with some dissatisfaction. These days, Lin Yi didn't get any new information from Boss Bai, so Coiling Tiger didn't make a move. But now he couldn't sit still. After hesitating for a moment, Coiling Tiger Yu still followed. Although he was more afraid of Lin Yi, he had to pay attention to the information related to improving the level of alchemy of the Yu family. Others may not know, but Coiling Tiger Yu was very clear. Boss Bai's alchemy skills back then, even if the masters of the entire Heavenly Elixir sect were added together, it would still be difficult to catch up. So even if he was afraid, Coiling Tiger Yu still had to follow. Lin Yi was now a master of the peak of the middle phase of the Earth class. Naturally, he could easily notice that someone was following him. But after seeing that it was Coiling Tiger Yu, he didn't care. Lin Yi went to Boss Bai's office several times before, and there was not a time when Coiling Tiger Yu didn't follow him. Lin Yi was already used to it. Little E, how's your alchemy skills these days? Has it improved? Boss Bai asked as he walked. Still the same. I can't change the temperature and intensity of the fire. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and said, maybe I really don't have the talent for alchemy. Is your body really lacking the wood attribute? Boss Bai frowned. He was grateful to Lin Yi and admired Lin Yi's medical skills. Therefore, he wanted Lin Yi to learn more things and go further on the path of medicine. How could he go further? Conventional medical skills were certainly not very attractive to Lin Yi. Only the art of alchemy, which was a higher level of medical skills, was also helpful to cultivators. However, Lin Yi had never been able to condense the alchemic fire skillfully, which made Boss Bai feel very regretful. That's not it. I can confirm that my body has the wood attribute. Previously, Lin Yi wasn't sure if he had the wood element in his body. After all, changing the element of alchemy fire at will was an uncertain factor in Lin Yi's eyes. What if it was the art of dragon mastery? However, after practicing the wood forest 1,000 transformations, Lin Yi was sure that he had the wood element in his body. Boss Bai paused for a moment and turned to look at Lin. Then he shook his head and said, it's not surprising that you can condense the fire element and wood element alchemy fire. It doesn't mean that your body has this element. Just like alchemists who don't have the water attribute can also condense and catalyze the water element alchemy fire, this is only the transformation of the chant. It doesn't mean that your body really has this type of alchemy fire. No, Mr. Bai, what I mean is that I can use both the wood and fire attribute martial arts skills. Lin Yi shook his head and thought that his guess was right. Being able to transform alchemy fire had nothing to do with one's physique. However, at this moment, he said with certainty, so my body should have both the wood and fire attributes. Boss Bai's expression became even worse. His expression turned even uglier. After a long while, he finally said, could it be the legendary good-for-nothing? Cough, cough, cough. After hearing Boss Bai's words, Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In any case, his cultivation speed was considered excellent. Without a master, He was not inferior to the disciples of the hidden families or even the ancient sections. How could he be called useless? Moreover, he could also imitate and create martial arts skills. Even if he wasn't a genius, he wasn't a useless wood, right? Most importantly, when the art of dragon mastery reaches the second level, he could become an existence similar to a blacksmith, and he would be a rare genius in the world. Lin Yi, I didn't mean that. Boss Bai saw that Lin Yi was embarrassed. He hurriedly explained, actually, what I meant was that some people's physiques are not suitable for alchemy. For example, I once knew a person, how should I put it? This person's body contains many different attributes, even surpassing the ordinary fire and wood attributes. It's not just 3 attributes, but more. This person's multiple attributes form a situation where they are mutually restraining each other. Although I can't be sure if this is the case for you, your body shouldn't be suitable to become an alchemist. Oh? Isn't the more attributes the better? Why can't I become an alchemist? Lin Yi's heart slightly moved and he asked. Actually, it's like this. An alchemist must have the 2 basic attributes of fire and wood. Fire is the body attribute necessary to condense all kinds of alchemy fire, and wood is a kind of wood's spiritual perception of the changes of the herbs in the alchemy furnace. If these 2 basic attributes have the water attribute, then it will have a restraint on the fire attribute, and water and fire are mutually exclusive. Boss Bai explained, in this way, because of the water attribute, the fire attribute will be restrained and can't change the temperature and intensity of the alchemy fire. That's it? After hearing this, Lin Yi's eyes widened, and he finally understood, but at the same time, he was a little frustrated. Mr. Bai, you are right. I still have the water attribute in my body, because I can also activate the water martial arts skills. Sure enough. Boss Bai patted Lin Yi's shoulder and looked at Lin Yi with a bit of heartache. Having too many attributes is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. At the very least, it's a bad thing for alchemists. Because the current mantras for alchemy fire catalyzing and condensing can't change this situation. Although in theory, if there is a new mantra, this difficulty can be overcome, but there is not for the time being. There are too few examples like you. Lin Yi shrugged. Boss Bai's words were all for naught. However, if your body also has the metal attribute, you can become a blacksmith. In the world of blacksmiths, there is no such thing as mutual restriction. Boss Bai said, I can be sure of this. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. Did he have the metal attribute in his body? At present, Lin Yi was also not clear, because Lin Yi had not tried to activate the metal attribute martial art skills, but when the second level of the art of dragon mastery was completed, it was certain that he could condense the space of the jade pendant. Chapter 2549 The Campus Belle's Bodyguard is free. Chapter 2541 Did that mean that he was a blacksmith? It seemed that he was even more powerful than an alchemist. Although Lin Yi wasn't very sure, Lin Yi speculated that he should have the metal element. Otherwise, the method of condensing the jade pendant wouldn't have mentioned all the other prerequisites, and that was the completion of the second level of the art of dragon mastery. In other words, those who could practice the art of dragon mastery must have the metal, wood, and fire elements in their bodies. It's nothing. I had a disciple of an old friend who had this element. He could become a blacksmith, not an alchemist. Boss Bai didn't say much, obviously unwilling to talk about the past. Lin Yi nodded and didn't ask any more. What a pity, but it's fine. I'll help you collect some information on blacksmiths. Your body type is rare even in 1,000 years. If you really have the metal element, then becoming a blacksmith won't be a dream. By then, you'll be even more powerful than an alchemist. Boss Bai comforted him. Thank you, Mr. Bai. Lin Yi was really touched after listening to Boss Bai's words. He and Boss Bai were just an ordinary teacher and student, and Boss Bai's kindness to him originated from the time when he saved him. But now, the favor was almost returned, and Boss Bai was still tirelessly helping him solve his problems. Hee, no need to be so polite. I'm your teacher, isn't this what I should do? Boss Bai smiled and said, how about it, do you want to be my disciple now? Mr. Bai, you're my teacher now. This is actually the same as my previous master. A teacher for a day is a father for life. I'm already your disciple, what else is there to doubt? Lin Yi smiled and said, it's just that I'll be Boss Bai's disciple in the future. I don't want to lose face for you. Okay, I'm very happy today. Boss Bai nodded and said, in fact, you also know that this kind of teacher and student relationship is still different from a real teacher and disciple relationship. For some people, although I'm a teacher in their school, I won't allow them to use my name after they graduate. I understand. Lin Yi thought to himself, are you talking about the right coiling tiger? Originally, I called you here this time because I wanted to give you something really good. Some of the things that my master taught me years ago, I wanted to see if you could be inspired by them, but now it seems that they are not very useful. Boss Bai sighed and said with some disappointment. It's useful, of course it's useful. Lin Yi quickly said. Useful? Don't tell me you're going to use it to trade with right coiling tiger? Boss Bai laughed. But Lin Yi, I'm telling you, the thing this time is indeed good stuff. It's a pity to give it to right coiling tiger, but if you really want to trade with him, then I can give it to you. But this is what my master taught me back then. When Boss Bai said this, his voice suddenly became a lot louder. Previously, the two people were communicating in a low voice, and with right coiling tiger's distance and hearing, he couldn't hear it at all, but Boss Bai's words were heard clearly by right coiling tiger. Lin Yi suddenly blushed. He really didn't mean that. He wanted to give Han Jingjing a reference and see if he could learn something new from it. As for exchanging it to right coiling tiger, it would depend on the real value of this information. If it was really that kind of useful and precious information, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't give it to right coiling tiger. Right coiling tiger stood behind the two people not far away. Previously, he was suffering from his poor hearing and couldn't hear anything clearly. Suddenly, Boss Bai's words came into his ears like a bolt from the blue, causing right coiling tiger's ears to prick up. It was really good stuff? Or something that Boss Bai's master taught him back then? Wasn't this exactly what the right family needed to hide? This time, he listened carefully and couldn't make a mistake. Right coiling tiger was overjoyed. He had to get this information. Thinking of this, right coiling tiger also slowed down. In order not to let Lin Yi and Boss Bai suspect, he deliberately slowed down and didn't follow too closely. After all, he already knew that Lin Yi would get a super good information. Right coiling tiger only needed to be prepared to negotiate with Lin Yi to exchange the information back. I just said it casually. Since the information has been given to you, I won't say anything if you want to exchange it for some benefits that are beneficial to you. Boss Bai laughed. He really took good care of Lin Yi. Well, can this really be exchanged for right coiling tiger? Lin Yi asked with some uncertainty. Actually, it can. Boss Bai said, this is something that my master left me. The information inside is actually not particularly important. Anyway, you can make your own decision. Thank you, Teacher Bai. Lin Yi said gratefully. This is nothing. The most important thing is an alchemist's notes that I summarized and perfected myself. This alchemist's notes, you'd better not give it away. Boss Bai said, I will give it to you next time. That is not necessary. I can't become an alchemist. Lin Yi said with some embarrassment. You can't, but can't Han Jingjing? Boss Bai smiled. Teacher Bai, you know all about it? Lin Yi was shocked and looked at Boss Bai with some surprise. He didn't expect Boss Bai to already know about Han Jingjing. Didn't you give all the things that you exchanged with right coiling tiger to her? Boss Bai smiled slightly. Although I don't know what your relationship with her is, it seems that she should be very close to you. If she can become an alchemist, my support for you will not be in vain. Han Jingjing is indeed an alchemist. Lin Yi nodded. Regarding this, since Boss Bai had already seen through it, and Boss Bai had given him such support, Lin Yi was embarrassed to hide anything. Now, can she successfully refine a first-grade elixir? Boss Bai nodded and asked. Jingjing can now refine second-grade elixir with 90% success rate. Lin Yi said, 90%, that's a very high success rate. What? You said second-grade elixir? Boss Spy whitened his eyes and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. You are not lying to me? She really can have 90% success rate in refining second-grade elixir? Yes. Lin Yi nodded and said with a bitter smile, Boss Spy, do I need to lie to you? Second grade, 90% success rate. Boss Spy took a deep breath. What a young hero. Chapter 2542. His own disciple only had an 80% chance of successfully refining a first-grade elixir and a 30% chance of successfully refining a second-grade elixir. This was under the condition that his disciple was extremely talented, and it was also the result of his careful teaching. But this Han Jingjing, who came out of nowhere, had a 90% chance of successfully making a second-level elixir in just a few months, under the guidance of a half-baked elixir refiner like Lin Yi? What did that mean? Of course, that was the result of Lin Yi's reservation. After all, it was too shocking that Han Jingjing could successfully refine a second-grade elixir and mass-produce it. Hee. Lin Yi just smiled. Can you let her be my disciple? Boss Spy was a little tempted. I'm afraid. Lin Yi hesitated and didn't know how to explain. It was not that he didn't want Han Jingjing to be his disciple, but it was not very useful for a scientific alchemist like Han Jingjing. What? Do you want to keep it to yourself? Seeing Lin Yi's look, Boss Spy thought that Lin Yi was reluctant to let her go, so he said with a smile, I'm just helping you to train a helper. I already have a disciple, so I won't compete with you for her. Lin Yi shook his head and decided to tell the truth. He said, Mr. Bai, Jingjing's situation is a little special. She has the fire attribute in her body, but not the wood attribute, so your practical operation is not very useful for her. Oh? Boss Spy was really shocked this time. Alchemists lack the wood attribute? How is that possible? How can such a person become an alchemist? Not to mention refining elixirs, it would be good enough if the furnace doesn't explode. So, Boss Spy lost his voice and said, How is that possible? Jingjing uses a complicated method of exploration and calculation to get some data. She's the only one who can use this method, and it's a unique one. It's impossible for anyone to teach her, and it's not realistic for her to learn it. Lin Yi didn't go into too much detail, just giving a general overview. I see. Boss Spy was deep in thought. Although what Lin Yi said was theoretically feasible, it was actually very difficult and unrealistic. However, Lin Yi certainly wouldn't lie, which meant that it was all true. There was only one possibility, and that was that Han Jingjing was a genius in mathematics, physics, and chemistry. At the very least, she had the intelligence of a scientist, which was why she was able to calculate the complicated chemical and physical changes in the furnace, as well as the time, temperature, and intensity of the fire. Boss Spy used to be a successful alchemist, so he understood the principle after what Lin Yi said. It was just that this seemed a little unimaginable to him. It was not impossible, but the difficulty was too high. It's not impossible, but it's too difficult. Boss Spy shook his head and said with a bitter smile, This alchemy method is theoretically feasible, but it's the first time I've heard of it. I was also shocked at the time. Lin Yi smiled. But little E, don't tell anyone else about this. Boss Spy's face suddenly returned to a serious expression. Especially don't let the Hidden You family and the Heavenly Elixir sect know. Otherwise, it may bring an unexpected disaster to Han Jingjing. At least, before you have the qualifications to look down on all the ancient sects, you can't reveal this news. Teacher Bai, I understand. I'm only telling you. Lin Yi knew the stakes and nodded. I think I shouldn't hide it from you since you treat me so well, but to others, hee. Yeah, I was thinking too much. Kid, you're even more shrewd than the little fox. You played you coiling tiger like a fiddle, and he took out all the good stuff hidden in the Yu family to trade with you. Boss Spy smiled in relief. Yeah, so I'm going to take this information and exchange it with you coiling tiger for some materials for third-level elixirs. Lin Yi said. Boss Spy nodded firmly this time. This information is useless. This is all I can support you. I don't have materials for third-level elixirs, but I can find some materials for second-level elixirs for you. Oh? Mr. Bai, you have materials for second-level elixirs? Lin Yi suddenly had a feeling that he could wear out iron shoes in a fruitless search, only to find what he was looking for without any effort. Why didn't he think that Boss Bai had materials for second-level elixirs? If he had known earlier, Lin Yi would have gotten some materials from Boss Bai. Why did he have to exchange with you, Coiling Tiger? I do have some, but you know that these materials are very expensive. It's not that I'm stingy, but I'm really not rich. I have an apprentice at home, so I have to use them sparingly. Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi apologetically and said, These materials can be bought? Lin Yi was slightly dazed. Of course. Boss Bai nodded and said, The Heavenly Elixir sect sells these common materials, and I've planted some myself, but not a lot. Also, teaching apprentices wastes a lot of materials. Well, how about I buy them from you? Linist. The Cultivator Trading Association hadn't given Lin Yi a definite message, so Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were basically in a stagnant state these days without materials to make elixirs. Yes, but not for now. The Heavenly Elixir sect will only sell medicinal materials at the next Cultivator Trading Convention, Boss Bai said. Cultivator Trading Convention? Hearing this somewhat familiar name, Lin Yi thought of something. Is it held by the Cultivator Trading Association? That's right, it was organized by the Cultivator Trade Association. Boss Bai nodded. The Cultivator Trading Association also sells these medicinal materials, but the quality is better and the price is higher, so the medicinal materials of the Heavenly Elixir sect are generally more popular. Other families don't have alchemists. Why do they buy these materials? Lin Yi was a bit puzzled. It was understandable if Boss Bai bought the materials of the Heavenly Elixir sect instead of the Cultivator Trading Association. Anyway, it didn't matter if the materials were good or bad for his apprentice, and the elixirs that were made were of the same quality. But why did other people buy these materials? These materials are actually not only used to make elixirs, but also to make medicines. Boss Bai said, Little E, you are really confused. In fact, even if these medicinal materials are not made into elixirs, they can be mixed together to make ordinary medicines. Most of them will have corresponding effects, but the effects will be weakened a lot. Just like the Dr. Kang's Golden Creation medicine on the market. Think about it. How similar are the ingredients of it to the circulation pill? At least 7 or 8 kinds of medicinal materials are the ingredients of the circulation pill, right? Latest update, please. Chapter 2543. Oh. Lin Yi paused and nodded. Now that you mention it, that does seem to be the case. Even the bone cleansing pill, after simplifying the ingredients, could become the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine couldn't be compared. The effects were similar, but Lin Yi had completely changed it. That's why they say that you don't have to worry about selling the good stuff. Plus, most of the people who come to this kind of trade fair are ancient levels. It's not surprising for ancient sects and ancient families to have a second-level refiner. They also need to buy large amounts of ingredients to train their skills, Bai Bo explained. I see, can't you just say that it's an ancient-level trade fair? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. This was easy to understand. There were refiners in the Ice Palace. I thought you weren't familiar with the ancient level? Bai Bo smiled. The two entered Bai Bo's office side by side, and the same way, Bai Bo handed Lin Yi a stack of documents and didn't say anything else. Thank you, Master Bai, I'll be going now. Lin Yi nodded, but he was hesitating. Should he return the favor and show the notes he got from Zhang Liju's tomb to Bai Bo? Logically speaking, Bai Bo was Zhang Liju's disciple, and it wasn't against the rules for him to show Bai Bo his notes. To put it bluntly, Lin Yi was just showing him something that belonged to Bai Bo. All right, go. Bai Bo nodded and said, Bring Jing Jing to my house when you're free. If you have any problems, tell her to come find me. All right, Lin Yi knew that Bai Bo had accepted Han Jingjing as his student. After leaving Bai Bo's office, Lin Yi saw Right Coiling Tiger, who was standing at the end of the hallway, pretending to be reading the wall posters. He smiled and greeted Lin Yi. Isn't this Lin Yi classmate? Did Teacher Bai give you something good again? Yes, but I don't want to trade with you. Lin Yi said straightforwardly, okay, get out of the way. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to be so direct this time, which was different from the previous 2 times. But this time, because Right Coiling Tiger heard Boss Bai's words, he was very confident in the information in Lin Yi's hands. And seeing that Lin Yi didn't play hard to get this time, but directly and decisively admitted that it was good material and refused to exchange, it also proved this point. Wait. Right Coiling Tiger hurriedly stopped Lin Yi and said, all right, Lin Yi, since you're so direct, I won't play dumb. I also know that the thing in your hand is Boss Bai's Master's Alchemy Notes, right? So what if I am? Lin Yi said coldly, I don't want to give it to you this time. Although I admit that I played hard to get you twice before, this time, I don't want to exchange with you at all, so just give up. There's no need to say anything more. Don't. Right Coiling Tiger said, Lin Yi, don't be so absolute. Everything has its value. You rejected me because you think I can't give you a price that can move you, but I can tell you clearly that I can. You can. Lin Yi shook his head. I don't think you can, and I don't want to exchange with you. If you don't want to be beaten, then get out of the way. In Teacher Bai's place, I don't want to use force. This. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to be so stubborn. It seemed that he had made up his mind not to communicate with him. He suddenly became a little anxious. This time, it was a real good thing. Right Coiling Tiger absolutely didn't want to miss it. He had already made 2 mistakes, and this time, he clearly knew that the thing in Lin Yi's hand was good, but Lin Yi didn't want to exchange with him, which made him feel a little helpless. I still have to go eat. Lin Yi walked around Right Coiling Tiger and strode forward. Lin Yi, what do you need? Just say it. Isn't business just bargaining? Right Coiling Tiger said, tell me what you want. You have to give me a chance, right? Oh, okay, I want the Qi Gathering Pill. Do you have it? Lin Yi asked. The Qi Gathering Pill? Right Coiling Tiger was stunned, and then his face darkened. How could he have this thing in his house? Qi Gathering Pill was a 3rd-grade medicinal pill. Not to mention that the refining materials were rare, it was also very difficult to refine. Even if the Heavenly Elixir sect could refine it, they would not refine this kind of thing. On the one hand, 3rd-grade medicinal pills could not be refined at any time. Even the ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect had to think twice before refining a 3rd-grade medicinal pill. He had to consider whether it was worth refining. Because refining a 3rd-grade medicinal pill, whether it was successful or not, required a lot of physical strength and true qi. It was almost impossible to recover in half a year or even a year. During this period, they could not refine other medicinal pills. Therefore, even if a 3rd-grade medicinal pill could be sold for a lot of money, it was priceless. The ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect would not refine it unless it was necessary. For example, the Flaming Sun Dan refined for Kong Ming Ming was a last resort, so the ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect would refine it. In the Heavenly Elixir sect, as a reward for the winner of the trial, some of the 3rd-grade medicinal pills were accumulated by the Heavenly Elixir sect for generations, some were given by that place, and some were found in ancient ruins. Very few of the Heavenly Elixir sect's ancestor refined it himself. This was also the reason why Bingtang wanted to refine a 3rd-grade medicinal pill, but she still didn't succeed despite begging her grandpa and grandma. Lin Yi, aren't you making things difficult for me? You know it's impossible. Not to mention my family, even the Heavenly Elixir sect doesn't have it. Right Coiling Tiger smiled bitterly as he chased Lin. If you don't have it, then forget it. I don't lack anything now. I just need a Qi Gathering Pill to break through to Heaven stage. Lin Yi said, if you have it, then I can consider it. If not, then forget it. Let's talk about other things, okay? When Right Coiling Tiger heard that Lin Yi wanted to break through to Heaven stage, his heart suddenly trembled. He cursed in his heart. Motherfucker, you're only at the peak of Earth stage middle stage now, and you can instantly kill Heaven stage early stage and Heaven stage early stage peak early stage. If you break through to Heaven stage, will you let people live? Will you be invincible under the Heavenly Tao? But this thought was just a thought. What he wanted the most now was the material in Lin Yi's hands. No matter what, he had to get it. Kill you? Lin Yi looked back at Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger's face was a little twisted. He hesitated for a moment, but still didn't follow. What to do? After Lin Yi left, Right Coiling Tiger furrowed his brows and started thinking. Latest update, please. Chapter 2544. However, after thinking for a long time, Panhu Right didn't have a good idea, so he called Yellow Hair, Purple Hair, and Xiaolong. The four of them went to a restaurant room. Panhu Right wanted to discuss the latest strategy with them. There was strength in numbers. Master Panhu, I saw you leave with Lin Yi. Are you okay? Xiaolong asked, concerned. I'm fine. Panhu Right shook his head. As Boss Bai's student, Lin Yi only dares to threaten me. He wouldn't dare do anything to me. Xiaolong nodded. He used to be Boss Bai's student, so he naturally knew about this rule. Boss Bai hated fights between students to an incomprehensible degree. He couldn't tolerate fights between students, and if anyone broke the rule, then sorry, they'd have to get the fuck out of here. Then, Master Panhu, what did you call us here for? Yellow Hair asked. He didn't think that Panhu Right would invite them for a meal for no reason. In this period of time, both Panhu Right and Xiaolong were very low-key. After they came to school, they rarely left the school gates, and usually had lunch in the school cafeteria. There is indeed something. Panhu Right nodded. Boss Bai gave Lin Yi a list of refiners, and I wanted to exchange it with him, but Lin Yi didn't budge this time. No matter what I said, he wouldn't agree. He told me that he wanted chi-gathering pills, and he wouldn't exchange without them. Isn't he purposely making things difficult for me? Master Panhu, are you sure that the information is good? Yellow Hair knew that Panhu Right had suffered a few times before, so he wanted to remind him to be careful and not get tricked. I'm very sure this time, Panhu Right said. This time, Boss Bai said it himself. This information was given to him by his master, and even Lin Yi admitted it. Oh? Could it be that Lin Yi is playing hard to get? Purple Hair thought about it and said, didn't he do this a few times before? I thought the same thing before. Lin Yi might be playing hard to get, but when he said he wanted a chi-gathering pill from me, I'm afraid he's not playing hard to get. Right Coiling Tiger shook his head, rejecting this suggestion. If that's the case. Purple Hair hesitated for a moment before nodding his head and saying, that's true. If he wanted to play hard to get, he wouldn't have said it so resolutely. Yeah, it's really troublesome. Kongbro, you're a professor, you're wise and resourceful. Do you have any good suggestions? Panhu Right turned to Xiaolong. My suggestion? Xiaolong sighed. Panhu Right's flattery made him feel good. He was indeed the one with the highest degree out of all of them. I feel that you should start with Han Jingjing, Xiaolong said after some thought. Han Jingjing? Panhu Right paused for a moment, then his eyes lit up as he thought of something. Whether it was the cauldron or the ingredients he gave to Lin Yi, they were all given to Han Jingjing by Lin Yi. This meant that Han Jingjing was the ultimate beneficiary. Since Lin didn't want to trade, then he'd look for Han Jingjing. At that time, whatever Han Jingjing needed, as long as he could give it to her, Lin Yi would definitely help Han Jingjing trade for it. One had to admit that Xiaolong's idea was really a good one. It could turn the situation around. But I suggest that you don't ask directly. You can first analyze and predict what Han Jingjing needs the most right now. Take this thing and show it to Han Jingjing, say something to incite her. It'd be best if Han Jingjing would take the initiative to ask for it. That way, you'd have the initiative, and it'd be easier to negotiate. Otherwise, if you let Han Jingjing name a price, she might ask for an exorbitant price and scam you. Xiaolong reminded. You're right, Big Bro Kong. You're a professor after all. Panhu Right nodded, overjoyed. All right, I'll ask for leave this afternoon and go back to the hidden house. I'll discuss with Uncle and Grandpa what Han Jingjing needs the most right now, and I'll get some to show off in front of her. Panhu Right made up his mind and went to ask for leave from Boss Bai. He didn't dare leave without asking for leave anymore. He'd almost been scolded last time. Lin Yi, on the other hand, took the information Boss Bai gave him and went to find Han Jingjing. Lin Yi went to Boss Bai's place, and Han Jingjing and Xin Yan didn't eat at the cafeteria. They bought 3 boxes of food and went back to the classroom, waiting for Lin Yi to come back. Lin Yi, I've talked to Yao Yao and Shu. You're going to Professor Bai's office. We bought the food, so we won't be going to the cafeteria, Xin Yan said when she saw Lin Yi walk in. All right, you two didn't eat first? Lin Yi said as he looked at the 3 boxed lunches on the table. None of them had been touched. No, we're not in a hurry. We'll wait for you, Xin Yan said. Then let's eat now. Lin Yi walked over and handed the information to Han Jingjing. Jingjing, read this while you eat. It's left behind by Professor Bai's Shifu. See if there's anything you can learn from it. Okay. Han Jingjing took the information and started reading. After the 3 of them finished lunch, Han Jingjing also finished reading the information. She shook her head and said to Lin, Brother Lin Yi, this information is in the information you gave me, and it's much more complete than this. This is only a small part, and it's incomplete. Although some places have been filled in, it's obviously far from the other one. In other words, this information isn't very useful? Lin Yi asked. Not really, Han Jingjing said truthfully. Okay, I understand. Lin Yi nodded. If Right Coiling Tiger asks you, just say that this information is very good and very useful. If he asks you what you want to exchange, don't say anything. If he lists the conditions, just stay silent or ask me. And Jingjing understands. Han Jingjing nodded. Right Coiling Tiger hurriedly returned to the hidden house of Yu and locked himself in a secret room with his uncle Right Zhentian and Elder Yu. They held a family meeting. Coiling Tiger, you're saying that this time, the information Boss Bai gave to Lin Yi was indeed left behind by his Shifu? There's no mistake? Right Zhentian asked. That's right, uncle. There's no mistake this time. Boss Bai said it himself. I heard it clearly, and even Lin Yi admitted it. Right Coiling Tiger said as he told his uncle and grandfather about Lin Yi's firm refusal to exchange. Update as soon as possible. Chapter 2545. According to what you said, it might really be something good. Yu Zhentian nodded and said, Father, what do you think? If Lin Yi agrees to the exchange, you can let Coiling Tiger take a look and take a photo of the first page and send it back to the family. I'll check it myself and see if this information is important or not. Old Yu said, if it's important, then you have to get it at all costs, no matter how much you have to pay. If it's dispensable, then just pay whatever you want. If Lin Yi doesn't want to exchange, then he doesn't want to exchange. If it's worthless, then forget it. That's fine, but Lin, can you let me see it? Yu Coiling Tiger asked hesitantly. This depends on your ability. Old Yu said, Coiling Tiger, this is also an experience for you. If you do well, I'm prepared to support you to become the first elder of the family. If you can't even do such a small thing, how can you talk about becoming the first elder? Yu Coiling Tiger was shocked and looked at his grandfather in shock. He didn't expect his grandfather to support him to become the first elder of the family. That was an existence second only to the head of the family. Although he didn't care much about the family's affairs and focused on alchemy, even the head of the family had to be respectful. The current first elder of the House of Yu was his grandfather's younger brother, which was Yu Coiling Tiger's second grandfather. He was a level 2 alchemist, and even his grandfather had to be polite when he saw him. His uncle was even more subservient, and Yu Coiling Tiger couldn't even see him. Yu Zhentian's expression changed slightly. His second grandfather had never married in his life, so naturally, he had no children. So, the position of the first elder was destined to be chosen from his grandfather's bloodline. Yu Zhentian was the heir of the family, and his son was also raised as the head of the House of Yu. The position of the first elder was also very important, but Yu Zhentian didn't expect his father to raise Yu Coiling Tiger as the heir. Originally, Yu Zhentian thought that it would be good enough for Yu Coiling Hu to become an ordinary elder. He never imagined that he would become the clan's first elder. However, at this time, if Yu Panhu really obtained something that was beneficial to the development of the Yu family, then he would become the successor of the great elder. especially since he was on good terms with Kong Ming Ming. Once Kong Ming Ming became the elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, then Yu Panhu would not only become the great elder of the Yu family, but also the young master of the Yu family. Thinking up to this point, Yu Zhentian decided to let Yu Coiling who hold the position of great elder firmly and not covet the position of young master. Hence, he hurriedly nodded and said, "That's right, Coiling Hu. You must cherish this opportunity. If you can become the great elder, you'll be able to better assist your brother, Yu Coiling Long. The two of you will lead the Yu family to glory. I will do my best." Right now, Yu Coiling Tiger didn't have any thoughts of replacing him. The position of first elder was enough to excite him. He wasn't the kind of person with ambition. "Grandpa, what do you think about me taking a second-grade cauldron? If Han Jingjing learns alchemy, this second-grade cauldron is a consumable item and can be easily damaged." "That's fine. If you're not a skilled alchemist, it's easy to damage the cauldron. You can take another second-grade cauldron, but I'm afraid a second-grade cauldron alone isn't very attractive, right?" Old Yu said. "Oh, but we don't have an extra third-grade cauldron. Currently, we only have a second-grade cauldron." Yu Coiling Hu said. "Indeed, we don't have a third-grade cauldron, but we still have some casting materials for a third-grade cauldron. See if you can trick Lin Yi and Han Jingjing into giving them a set of materials and trick them into forging their own third-grade cauldron." Old Yu thought about it and asked. "That's fine too." Yu Coiling Tiger rubbed his chin and nodded. Previously, he had tricked Lin Yi and exchanged a cracked cauldron as a treasure. This time, he didn't know if Lin Yi would fall for it. In order to make it seem real, you can give him some materials for a third-grade elixir. This way, he won't suspect that a third-grade cauldron can never be forged. Yu Zhentian reminded. "That's right. I'll give it a try. First, I'll prepare these things and then give them to Lin Yi and Han Jingjing one by one. Then we'll see if they'll be tempted." Yu Coiling Tiger nodded. Lin Yi was in school when he received a call from Songshan's orphanage. However, it wasn't Yu Xiaoke who called, but Xiao Ken. "Lin Yi bro, Xiaoke sis is in some trouble," Xiao Ken said. "Oh, trouble? What kind of trouble?" Lin Yi's heart tightened as he quickly asked. "It's not a big problem. It's just that the Swiss franc that you gave to Sister Xiaoke can't exchange it?" Xiao Ken said, "These few days, Sister Xiaoke has been running around with this matter, but she hasn't found a suitable channel. The black market's handling fee is too high. Sister Xiaoke is furious." "Oh, that's it." Lin Yi slapped his forehead in realization he'd given all the Swiss francs to Xiaoke, but he'd neglected one problem. If Xiaoke were to exchange them through the proper channels, it'd be troublesome. The amount was too huge, and she couldn't even explain the source of the money. "She didn't go to Fatty Lai?" "No, CEO Lai's company said that they're discussing a big business deal, and CEO Lai went abroad," Xiao Ken said. "Fatty Lai went abroad?" Lin Yi paused. He hadn't interfered with the company's business for a long time, and he didn't know how it was progressing. But from what Xiao Ken said, it seemed like the company was doing pretty well, even expanding its business overseas. "All right, I'll go there myself later." Lin Yi had wanted Yu Xiaoke to look for Pengzhan. This sort of foreign currency exchange wasn't something that other people could do, but Pengzhan was a local businessman, and he had deep connections with the banks. But Lin Yi remembered that Yu Xiaoke and Pengzhan weren't close, and Lin Yi actually wanted to go to Songshan to see Ziyu and Qinshi. He hadn't seen them in a long time, and he wondered how they were doing. From the fact that Ziyu didn't look for him when she was in trouble, Lin Yi felt like he didn't care about them anymore, and so Lin Yi decided to go see them himself. Chapter 2546. Lin Yi asked for a day off from Boss Bai in the afternoon and drove to Songshan. At this time, Yu Panhu just happened to return to school from the Hidden Yu family with some good stuff. His car brushed past Lin Yi's car, but Yu Panhu wasn't good at observing, so he didn't notice it at all. Instead, Lin Yi saw Yu Panhu in the sports car. What was this guy doing in such a hurry? Lin Yi secretly guessed, did he bring good stuff for him and Han Jingjing again? It had to be said, the person who understood Yu Panhu the most was actually Lin Yi. Yu Panhu returned to class, and the first thing he did was look at Lin Yi's seat, but he didn't see anything. "Where's Lin Yi?" Yupanhu asked in a daze. Master Yu, I heard he had something to do in the afternoon, so he asked for a day off. Purple Hair didn't go back with Yupanhu, he stayed in school. Asked for a day off? Yupanhu felt like he punched cotton. He happily brought a bunch of good stuff and was about to show off, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to leave. But he thought about it again, Lin Yi leaving wasn't a big deal. He wanted to show off in front of Han Jingjing anyway, and without Lin Yi, it would be easier to show off. Han Jingjing shouldn't be as sly as Lin Yi, so it should be easier to trick her, right? Thinking about this, Yupanhu took out the second-grade medicine cauldron from before, walked to Han Jingjing, and sat down beside her. Han Jingjing was currently studying the alchemist notes that Boss Bai's master gave her. Although most of the content appeared in the alchemist notes that Lin Yi brought back from the ancient tomb, Han Jingjing didn't have anything else to do right now, so she started reading from the beginning when she was bored. Seeing Right Coiling Tiger walking over, Han Jingjing quickly put away the alchemist's notes, then picked up a school medical book and flipped through it. Coiling Tiger immediately rolled his eyes. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to be so vigilant. She put away the documents the moment he walked over, which made Coiling Tiger angry and helpless. Han Jingjing, why are you so hardworking? Are you studying during your lunch break? Right Coiling Tiger asked as he spun the cauldron in his hand. Yes, Jingjing has to study hard and help big brother Lin Yi in the future, Han Jingjing replied without raising her head. Fuck. When Right Coiling Tiger heard Han Jingjing's words, he felt very aggrieved. He thought to himself, what's so good about Lin Yi? Why were all these girls so dead set on him? What's wrong with you? Han Jingjing raised her head and looked strangely at the reddened Right Coiling Tiger. It's nothing. Right Coiling Tiger laughed dryly. Hey, Jingjing, what were you looking at earlier? Can I have a look? Han Jingjing rejected decisively. Don't. Didn't Teacher Bai always say that students should help each other? I want to see the documents in your hands. You should let me see them, right? Right Coiling Tiger used Boss Bai's name to say something. Helping each other is not forcing each other. If I let you do a striptease in the classroom, would you agree? Han Jingjing's eyes flashed with a sharp glint as she spoke indifferently. Right Coiling Tiger was speechless. If you want me to help you with something related to studying, I can naturally help you. For example, I can borrow your textbooks, Han Jingjing said. Forget it, I have them too. Right Coiling Tiger was a little puzzled. This Han Jingjing usually looked dumb, why was she so quick-witted? She didn't seem to be easy to fool. This girl was probably just acting cute in front of Lin Yi, similar to Yushu. It seemed like it wasn't easy to fool her. Oh. Han Jingjing nodded and ignored him, continuing to look at the textbooks in front of her. Right Coiling Tiger was a little depressed. In order to attract Han Jingjing's attention, he began to play with the second-grade cauldron in his hands. 3 circles to the left, 3 circles to the right. This was a very easy thing for an alchemist like Right Coiling Tiger. It was even easier than performing acrobatics in a circus. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The second-grade cauldron spun rapidly in Right Coiling Tiger's hands, making all kinds of difficult moves. However, after playing for a long time, all the eyes of the students in the class were attracted to him. Most of them were envious and shocked. They didn't expect Right Coiling Tiger to be so good at cauldrons. Only Han Jingjing continued to turn a deaf ear, quietly looking at the textbooks in front of her. Right Coiling Tiger wanted to attract Han Jingjing's attention, but Han Jingjing didn't even look at him. Even if the others were shocked to death, it had nothing to do with Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger was a little helpless. He could only put the cauldron on the desk, coughed twice, and said to Han Jingjing, Jingjing, did you use the second-grade cauldron I gave you last time? Oh, I used it. It's pretty good. Thank you. Han Jingjing replied indifferently. This second-grade cauldron, for beginners, is very easy to break. During practice, if you don't control the temperature and the intensity of the fire well, it might explode. Right Coiling Tiger said up to this point and asked, your cauldron isn't broken, right? It's not broken. It's quite sturdy. Han Jingjing said without raising her head. Then it's not broken. Actually, you should prepare another cauldron just in case. If it explodes, you have a replacement. Right Coiling Tiger said. You mean you're going to give me another one? Han Jingjing finally raised her head and looked at the second-grade cauldron that Right Coiling Tiger had placed on the table. Of course, I can't give it to you for free, but we can exchange. Right Coiling Tiger saw that Han Jingjing had finally been led to the main topic by him and was immediately overjoyed. Oh, then forget it. Mine isn't broken yet. I won't exchange it for now. Han Jingjing lowered her head again. This made Right Coiling Tiger want to cry but have no tears. He didn't have any temper at all. Actually, you don't have to pay anything. How about you give me a copy of the information you just read and this second-grade cauldron will belong to you? How about it? Right Coiling Tiger raised the second-grade cauldron in his hand and tempted her. This is a second-grade cauldron. I won't give you a copy, Han Jingjing said directly. Right Coiling Tiger realized that his words just now were equivalent to saying nothing. His rich expression was also very rich. Han Jingjing didn't have any intention of coveting this second-grade cauldron at all. After thinking about it, Right Coiling Tiger asked, How about this? You tell me what you need. What do you want? What do I want? Han Jingjing thought about it and said, I already have a second-grade cauldron. You giving it to me won't be of much use. It's just a backup. If you have a third-grade cauldron, you can also give me one. Chapter 2547. Third-grade medicinal cauldron. Right Coiling Tiger said in his heart, Here it comes. Can you refine a third-grade medicinal pill? You want a third-grade medicinal cauldron? However, he just thought about it in his heart. Naturally, he couldn't say it out loud. If he said it, wouldn't it be looking down on Han Jingjing? At that time, Han Jingjing would definitely not exchange with him. You also know that a third-grade medicinal cauldron is very precious. Our Hidden You family doesn't have much in stock. Moreover, we don't have any more now. The next batch hasn't been cast yet, so then we will talk about it after you cast it. Han Jingjing wasn't a fool. She had already learned about the differences between first-grade, second-grade, and third-grade medicinal cauldrons from Lin Yi's information. First-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldrons could be made by a third-grade alchemist. As long as one used alchemy fire, it could be completed. There was no casting process. However, a third-grade medicinal cauldron was different. It must be cast by a blacksmith. In this era, blacksmiths had long disappeared. Therefore, in theory, it was impossible to cast a third-grade medicinal cauldron. The existing third-grade medicinal cauldrons were passed down from the past. In fact, for a medicinal cauldron, it was possible that a first-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldron was easily damaged. After all, it was the work of an alchemist. There was no casting process, so it was reasonable that it wasn't strong. However, a third-grade medicinal cauldron was basically undamaged. As long as it wasn't a heaven-defying medicinal pill, using a third-grade medicinal cauldron to refine a fourth-grade medicinal pill, the medicinal cauldron wouldn't be damaged. As for what Right Coiling Tiger said about the next batch not being cast yet, it was complete nonsense. However, Han Jingjing didn't expose it. She didn't want Right Coiling Tiger to see how much she knew about alchemy. That still needs a long time. Right Coiling Tiger quickly said, How about this? Although I don't have a third-grade medicinal cauldron here, I have some materials for casting a third-grade medicinal cauldron. How about I give you some materials and you let Lin Yi cast it? Oh. Han Jingjing nodded after listening. Is it free? Of course not. As long as you give me a copy of the materials that Lin Yi gave you, it will be fine. Right Coiling Tiger said. That won't do. I don't want it. Han Jingjing said resolutely. Yupanhu was about to cry. He had wasted so much time and effort, but Han Jingjing's one sentence had returned everything back to square one. Then how can I make a copy? Just say it. What else do you have? Just say it. Han Jingjing turned the topic back to Tiger Yu. This. Right Coiling Tiger hesitated for a moment, then said, All right, to be honest, I can give you a second-grade medicine cauldron, a third-grade medicine cauldron casting materials, and some third-grade medicine pill materials. How about it? Is this enough? That's it? Han Jingjing asked. That's right. Isn't this enough? Right Coiling Tiger suddenly revealed all his trump cards, feeling a little discouraged. I don't know. When Brother Lin comes back, I'll ask him for you, Han Jingjing said. What? You still have to ask Lin? When Right Coiling Tiger heard Han Jingjing's words, it was as if he had been struck by lightning. He suddenly felt exhausted. He had said so much for nothing. He thought he could fool Han Jingjing, but in the end, Han Jingjing still had to ask Lin. That's right. This information belongs to Brother Lin. If you want to make a copy, you naturally have to ask Brother Lin, Han Jingjing said matter-of-factly. Isn't the information in your hands now? If you secretly make a copy for me, then you can get these good things. Think about it, it's worth it. If I were you, I would agree. Right Coiling Tiger didn't want Han Jingjing to ask Lin again. He wanted to bypass Lin. Otherwise, if he asked Lin and Lin asked for the Qi Gathering pill, where would Right Coiling Tiger find it for him? That won't do. Jingjing won't lie. Han Jingjing shook her head. Stubborn. Right Coiling Tiger cursed in his heart, but he didn't dare to say anything on the surface. He only said, all right then, when Lin comes back, you can ask him if these things are okay. He originally wanted to cut the Gordian knot with a knife and directly report a bunch of benefits to knock Han Jingjing out. While Lin wasn't here, it seemed that Right Coiling Tiger was too idealistic. Han Jingjing didn't want to do underground transactions behind Lin Yi's back. Right Coiling Tiger left. Han Jingjing smiled slightly. Right Coiling Tiger's trump card had been tested by her. After Lin came back, all she had to do was continue to add chips on these things. It would also save her the trouble of negotiating. Lin drove to Songshan's orphanage. The orphanage now could be said to be different from before. Bright buildings rose from the ground, and the orphans lived in spacious and clean dorms. There were also more orphans of suitable age who could enter school, but at the same time, trouble came. Because of the expansion of the orphanage, the good environment attracted more abandoned babies. Many of the abandoned babies that the hospital didn't know how to deal with were all sent to Xiaoka's orphanage. Of course, it would be easy if these abandoned babies were healthy, but the problem was that most of these abandoned babies had congenital diseases. Needless to say, living expenses were naturally high, but the treatment fees were astronomical. With Xiaoka's personality, there was no reason for her to reject these orphans. So, this situation made Xiaoka, who had just gotten a breather, carry a heavy burden on her back again. Otherwise, with her previous savings and Fatty Lie's sponsorship, she could totally let the orphans live a good life. But now it wasn't possible. There were more and more orphans, and she had to hire more and more employees. These people were different from the volunteers in the orphanage. These people had to support their families, and they couldn't work for free. Xiaoka had to bear a large amount of expenses, and seeing that it was almost the end of the month, Fatty Lie went abroad for business. Naturally, Xiaoka was worried about how she could cash in such a large amount of Swiss francs. She couldn't pay these employees in Swiss francs, could she? Xiaoka sis, someone's here to help you. Xiao Ken saw Lin Yi's car and happily went to inform Xiaoka. Someone's here to help me? Xiaoka looked at the excited Xiao Ken, slightly taken aback. Lin bro is here. He'll definitely help you. Xiao Ken said. Lin? Why is he here? Xiaoka's expression changed slightly. She frowned and looked at Xiao Ken. Xiao Ken, did you tell Lin about me? You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.